Utah wearing white hats, red jerseys, and white pants here on homecoming, the modified throwback jersey. The Cougs wearing their crimson hats, white tops, and crimson pants. As we get ready to get underway, Andrew Strosh takes his steps at the 25-yard line. We'll get ready to put this game underway. Checks his lines, raises the hands. Here's the run up and the left-footed boot. We're underway. The ball is behind Travell Harris and Anthony Gordon in the potent Washington State offense will face off against the lethal Utah defense for the first time this night, and we are underway here in Salt Lake City.
You know what I'm excited to watch with this defense is that they played an air raid team last week with USC, and tonight's their second week in a row with an air raid offense as Washington State runs. Last week they were in the right position over and over and over again, but they could not make plays on the ball, and USC had guys who made plays against double coverage, which is just, that's unbelievable. So I think they're going to do a better job this week because Washington State does not have a receiver that can make plays like USC does.
A very deep receiving corps, but not as a number one guy and not the five-star recruits the USC has. That is indeed true. Trips right for Anthony Gordon.
I think they have more depth at receiver, though.
Max Borghi will take the handoff on the quick snap and gets some running room down the right sideline. Will pick up about 6, and that's a great start for this Washington State offense. If they can get the ground game going, it'll really set up this defense quite well for Anthony Gordon in the passing game.
Absolutely. I love watching Max Borghi run, man. He's so great. He's great with the ball in his hands, receiving, running. I love watching him.
2-by-2 set. Borghi still in the backfield with Anthony Gordon. Utah playing well back. 3 safeties on the field. Gordon takes the snap, another handoff to Borghi. Big hole left side, up, cuts to the right, and he's cut down near the 43-yard line, enough to move the chains. Real deep defense there for Utah.
Yeah, you know, we talked before the game about how one of the weaknesses of the Utah defense is that they play 2 high safeties, and there's a void in the middle between the safeties behind the linebackers. Looks like they dropped the guy back into that void, saying you're not going to throw the ball about 15 yards over the middle, but that has allowed Washington State to run the ball a lot more effectively.
First 2-back set of the game as Dion McIntosh joins the folds. Near side is Roderick Fisher all alone, 2 on the far side. Gordon surveys the defense, showing blitz. They'll send 4. Gordon steps back, throws over the right side, batted away, nearly intercepted. Aesop Winston Jr. playing a bit of defense there, and it's second down.
And that's just a bad throw by Anthony Gordon, man. He missed the right shoulder. He had a guy breaking inside, and he threw the ball to the outside to the receiver. That's a bad throw. You know, one thing I got to say, too, is Utah's leaving the box wide open. What that means is they have fewer defenders playing the run. And the numbers mismatch means Washington State should run the ball all over Utah tonight.
Travell Harris checks in for Dion McIntosh, a 2-by-2 set with Borghi in the backfield. Pressure shown. Anthony Gordon takes the snap, throws to the right side. Tunnel screen for Roderick Fisher. He breaks a couple tackles and is tackled down near the 58-yard line, and it will bring up third down for the first time tonight. 3rd and about 6 coming up for the Cougs.
And, you know, they did a great job there. In spite of the coverage Utah was playing, they managed to get yards. Utah was playing man coverage, and getting a block on a screen pass like that is really, really tough.
13:35 to play. 3rd down and 5 for the Cougars' 48-yard line. Utah is shaking, looking for a stop for their offense. Cougs will go trips to the right.
It's like man coverage across the board.
Man coverage across. Roderick Fisher near side. Borghi in the backfield. Borghi in motion to the right side. Gordon takes the snap. Looks to the middle. Scrambles to his left. Directing traffic. Looking. More room. Anthony Gordon will dive forward, but he's tackled to the line of scrimmage.
And that's just great coverage. That man coverage was fantastic. Nobody was open downfield.
Coverage sack for Utah. 4th down, and Mike Leach will have a decision, and
he'll punt here.
He'll send out the punting team. We'll see our first punt of the ball game.
Man, this is so much fun. I love this atmosphere. It is just a blast. This Utah crowd's into it. I hope they're into it all night. This is just awesome.
A great start for this Utah defense, getting the red-hot Cougar offense off the field, fresh off an 83 points you would have gotten the win over UCLA. An 63-point affair as Blake Mazza Oscar Drakisevich III takes the snap, and a punt is away. A fair catch called for by the return man. It's caught at the 8-yard line. That's where Tyler Huntley and this Utah offense will get things underway.
Man, that is a great punt by Washington State. Hey, so what I'm curious about with the Utah offense, by the way, Tyler Huntley has a foot injury, the quarterback for Utah. And again, as we talked earlier, he's not the strongest thrower of the football. He's a D1 quarterback. Of course, he can throw a little bit, but he's really a running quarterback. He's a run-first guy. And if he can't run the ball well because of his foot injury, that's a big limitation for the Utah offense.
It is indeed, as the offense comes out onto the field now, led by number 1, Tyler Huntley in a shotgun, heavy set. He'll hand it off to his running back, who is hit at the line by Jahad Woods. and slung down after a gain of about 4. Looked to be a shorter gain, but was able to fall forward and use some size there.
That's a disadvantage for Washington State, is Utah's just bigger than them up front. And I think that's going to happen a lot tonight, where running backs get met in the hole and then fall forward for a couple extra yards.
Utah comes out 2nd and 6 from their own 13 or 14-yard line thereabouts. Heavy set once again. Cougs in a base defense. The handoff, fake handoff, the throw over, and a tackle made immediately. Damari Simpkins close to the sticks, and he'll pick up a first down just past the 20-yard line. Utah moves the chains, and the Coug defense has to do it again.
Hey, man, credit Tyler Huntley there. He threw the ball to the wrong shoulder, but the coverage was soft enough he was able to get the ball in, and great first down by Utah.
Utah 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Tyler Huntley will go under center for the first time tonight. Devin Bromfield behind him as a couple men go in motion. Heavy set, 2 receivers to the near side, 1 goes in motion. It's a jet sweep, handoff, tackle made at the 26-yard line by Washington State. That had a chance to go. Jalen Dixon on the carry for about 6, 2nd and 4 coming up.
And that was a fantastic tackle by Washington State, man. Because that, if he gets through that tackle, he brings out for a long, long run.
Utah facing 2nd down here. 2nd down and about 5 yards to go from the 26-yard line of Utah.
You know what's cool? This is a fun nuance, is that the first down marker is automated. They have electronic first down, 2nd down, 3rd down. That's really, I've never seen that. That's really cool.
It is indeed. Devin Bromfield in the backfield. They'll send a man in motion. That's Damari Simpkins to the right side. Fake handoff. Tyler Huntley looking deep to the right side. He's throw it. Broken coverage. Catch is made at the 35. Down the right sidelines, and he'll be pushed out of bounds. Daniel Easom shoves out the receiver, and that is, I believe that is Brian Thompson on the reception. It is Brian Thompson on the reception, and Utah down to the 20-yard line in scoring position for the first time tonight. What a reception. Utah in movement is moving with 10:34 to go in the first quarter.
You know, one of my criticisms of Huntley is that his anticipation is slow. He throws the ball to guys after they're open, but he was so wide open, it didn't matter that time. He didn't have to have great anticipation.
Busted coverage by nickelback Skylar Thomas on that play. Brumfield in the backfield in the I formation, heavy set. He'll fake the handoff, looking middle, looking to the right side, thrown into double coverage, incomplete. Fans wanted a flag. They're not going to get it. Pass was intended for Damari Simpkins, and we'll see 2nd down and 10. That was a lot of contact.
No, but that's the flaw of Simpkins, man. His hands are not that reliable. He was wide. I know there's contact, but that ball's in his hands. Tyler Huntley stepped up in the pocket. That's a great job. I'm feeling for the quarterback. He should have had a touchdown there.
Solomon Innes checks in. Damari Simpkins heads out. Something we forgot to mention in the pregame, Britton Covey, one of the leaders on this team and who thought would be a key factor in this game, maybe taking a retro. We'll have more of that after the play. Single back formation with a heavy set, 2 receivers near side. They'll send a man in motion to the right side, fake the jet sweep, and hand it off right up the gut. Hit immediately by Jahad Woods and a number of others. A short gain. Devin Bromfield hit and thrown down, 3rd down and long coming up.
So do we indeed know? I know there's rumors he might. Is he redshirted or not?
We do not know officially. He is not in this ball game as of yet. Washington State thinks they have the football. The whole sideline signaling that they have the ball, but the officials disagree. You're not going to win that challenge almost certainly in a scrum like that, as there was a small scrum breaking out there. It'll be a 3rd down and 9 from the Washington State 19-yard line. Cougs in a good spot to limit Utah to 3 points.
And I got more on Britton Covey in a minute. We'll talk about it after this play.
Trips to the right side. Huntley takes the snap, looks to the right, now looks back to the left, in trouble, and Nnamdi Aguayo will trip him up, and he's brought down at the 16-yard line. He fell forward quite a bit more than that, but that's where his knee went down. It'll bring up 4th down and about 6-yard line, or about 6 yards to go. We have a sideline report from Brandon Chapman, but we'll throw it to him after this field goal attempt by Jaden Reddings, 4 for 5 so far on the season. His long is 38. This will be about a 33 to a 34-yard attempt, depending on where the holder puts it down. 8:49 to play and counting in the first quarter. Snap good, hold good, kick is on the way, and it is no good. He missed it left. And the Cougs catch a break. They'll start on their own 24-yard line. We're going to throw it down to Brandon Chapman for a sideline report. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Well, Coach Leach was very specific and very...
Turn your attention to the North End Zone. Allstate and Allstate agent Arturo Urquillo has awarded one lucky fan the opportunity to kick a 20.
We apologize for the technical difficulties there as we lost Brandon Chapman. You say you have more on Britton Covey.
Yeah, so I got a theory on this. My guess is he's suited up, but he's not going to play. If he is in fact redshirting, it doesn't make any sense to just announce that he's not. Why not if Utah can pretend he's playing and at least make Washington State play honest and not sure, it gives them an advantage. Why release information when they don't need to? He just won't play, and then by next week it'll be clear, he's redshirting because he didn't play at all in week 4.
It certainly does, and we have our first media timeout of the game. We've seen a drive from both offenses. Zach, what are your initial impressions on the offense and defense of these two teams?
I think Tyler Huntley's doing a good job. I think that third down was disappointing, but he did a good job making an all right play that could have been a sack, getting a couple yards, setting him up for a good field goal. I think it's unfortunate that field goal missed because I think Tyler Huntley did a good job playing it safe and making sure they didn't lose plays and have negative plays. Anthony Gordon, man, I don't know why they're not throwing the ball more with Washington, or running the ball more with Washington State's offense. Utah's giving them the box and either backed off or playing man coverage. I think I would run the ball more if I was Washington, but again, that's not Mike Leach's philosophy. I know some people, that's a knock on Mike Leach. They don't like the system because they don't run. But I think what you should look for in the future is when the box is empty and a couple plays in the future, is Washington State going to run the ball more with numbers in the box in the running game?
That will be a key, and we're going to throw it back to Brandon Chapman, give him another shot. Brandon, what's going on?
Well, first of all, any technical problems, we're just going to blame on the weather tonight, guys. So Coach Leach was very specific and very short with his players that first drive. He said, you have to make routine plays. It's all about the routine plays. Let's not get fancy. Let's go out and get the job done. He's not impressed right now by anybody trying to do more than they're supposed to be doing. If they make the routine plays, then they have a better shot on offense. He was clear about it. He was concise. And now we get a second drive to see if that'll all come to fruition. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Brandon. And I think that is the key to most of these offenses is do what you're told. It's harder to do when you're out there, I would imagine, is you want to make the big splashy plays, but it's important to stay inside yourself.
You know what I think of is that route that Anthony Gordon threw on the inside that he threw outside. He threw a bad, inaccurate pass. That's probably what Mike Leach was referring to is, hey, that's an easy throw. You got to complete that.
Washington State back out on offense. They're on their own 20-yard line. Trips to the right side. Max Borghi in the backfield. They'll send Harris in motion to the right. It's even the formation. Gordon takes the snap, looks to the middle, got time, throws over the middle, caught by Patman. He's slung down after a gain of about 14 yards. It'll move the chains. Cougar first down with 8:34 to go in the first quarter.
That's a great job by Anthony Gordon, taking what the defense gives him underneath, throwing about a 4-yard pass that goes for a 12-yard gain. Great job by Anthony.
Gordon's second completion of the evening. He's 2 for 3. 2-by-2 set. Borghi in the backfield. 3 deep safeties again for Utah.
Look at the box. I would run the ball here.
Very light box. 5 men in the box. They vacate. Man in motion is Borghi. They'll throw to Tay Martin for a very short pickup of about 3 to 4 yards. Second down and about 6 coming up. And they didn't run, but they took what the defense gave them and picked up a little chunk on first down.
That's actually called the strong area attack concept. We'll get into that in a minute. They're going to run the play, but I like what they did. That was a great read by Anthony Gordon.
Funky formation, send the men in motion. Even set at two receivers both sides. Borghi in the backfield. And that'll be a false start on Washington State. Liam Ryan and Anthony Gordon not on the same page as Liam Ryan immediately threw his hands up.
He did that last week too. And I love Liam. I follow him on Instagram. I know it's funny, but I love his personality. He's a guy who's got a great heart who works really hard. And that's the second week in a row he's had a false start. And I don't know what's going on, but something's not in sync.
Cougs will see 2nd and 11 from their own 33-yard line rather. As Liam Ryan, one of the linemen on this star-studded offensive line, Coach Leach and a lot of other people think there's a lot of NFL talent on this line. We will see if that plays out. Trips right side, Tay alone on the near side.
Man coverage on Tay.
Gordon takes the snap, looking right, back to the left, over the middle, and the pass is nearly hauled in by Aesop, but a great play on defense. That's Terrell Burgess coming up from his safety position to make the play.
You know, that's a throw that could have been a little better. It's not a bad throw, but it gave the defender just enough of a chance, and the defender made a great play.
3rd down and 11 from the Washington State 33-yard line. 7:26 to play in the first quarter, and Salt Lake City is on their feet once again. 2-by-2 set with Borghi in the backfield. He's played every snap of this ball game.
Man, look at the student section going nuts. Love it.
Yes, loud student section here tonight. Man coverage across. Gordon takes the snap. Heavy coverage. Anthony Gordon under pressure. He'll throw one up for Patman. It's incomplete. Underthrown. And the Cougars will be forced to punt on 4th down and 11, and you wonder how big that false start by Liam Ryan really is in this drive.
Yeah, you don't want to be in 3rd and long situations. Anytime you're dealing with a down longer than 10, it's disappointing. What's interesting is Anthony Gordon, now it's the second time he's not had anybody open on his initial couple reads and had to buy time and extend the play. It's that time he extended the play to the right, threw downfield to down to the right, and just nothing was there. That's great coverage.
Great showing so far by this Utah defense.
It goes back to last week, man, playing USC. They got a look of an offense similar to this. And after the loss last week, I guarantee you all week Utah's coaching staff was like, we cannot give up ground on air raid concepts.
Drakicevic will take the snap, gets the punt away, but first a flag, or a whistle rather. And we'll see what this is about. And it's a penalty on the offense. I couldn't hear if it was a false start or a delay game. Either way, it's a 5-yard walk-off. And the Cougs will be punting from their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, now you got the punt returners' heels on the 30-yard line. They're probably going to get good field position for this drive, Utah is.
Drakicevic sets up at his own 13-yard line. He takes the good snap, gets a kick away. It's a good one. Towards the left sideline. Fair caught at the 23-yard line. A great punt by Drakicevic to flip the field.
That's not bad, actually. Utah's going to start on their own 23. And because it was a good punt, had a lot of hang time and a lot of depth, Utah's didn't get a return, and they're going to start on their own 23. So
we enter another media timeout. We're going to talk just a little bit more about this Utah offense and Tyler Huntley, as we did not mention in the pregame, but Tyler Huntley dealing with a foot injury he sustained in that USC game may impact his mobility a little bit in this game, and we've seen that a little bit so far, not being able to
Actually, I will say, to his credit, he had a great play. That should have been a touchdown. He stepped up in the pocket. You know, I think as a quarterback moving around within the pocket, he's actually not doing too bad. And it looked like, there was that third down where he escaped and tried to run for a couple of yards. He's actually moving better than I would have expected him, given that he has a supposed foot injury.
We obviously hope that there's no lingering injuries with Tyler Huntley, as obviously at the end of the day, these are just students playing football, and we like to see him perform at their best. He gives us a great show, and it helps them further their career. And
well, also, man, as
really
a football fan, you want Tyler Huntley at his best because you want good football. That's what we're rooting for. That's what I want to see tonight. And so I hope Tyler Huntley's in a good spot. The healthier he is, the more of an entertaining show we get. So,
as we still have about a minute to go until Utah's second drive gets underway, missing a fairly short field goal Utah did on their first scoring drive on a great play by Tyler Huntley, extending the play and getting a long throw down the left sideline.
And you got to have those, man. This is one of the games that everybody, like I looked at some preseason previews. I was looking at one in the car, and that game, the Washington State game, was circled on the Utah schedule. In a game like this, a big game with a lot of importance, you got to make those kind of plays. It's an easy field goal. It's like a 20-yard field goal. You got to make that.
This a big game for both teams, looking for their first conference game. And a big game for the defensive unit for this Washington State team, giving up 67 points. Not all of them were on the defense. Two special teams touchdowns, and a number of turnovers on the offense. But this defense helped allow 50 points in the final 19 minutes against UCLA. They really need to show what they're made of tonight if they want to get a win.
You know, when we were driving over to the stadium, you dropped a really good stat, which is, I don't know how much weight it has, but it does matter, is that they held UCLA last week. In spite of all the points they gave up, they only gave up 4 yards a carry? 4 yards a
rush, yeah.
That's not awful, and the way they play the run is going to dictate how well their defense does tonight. I'm really excited to see how they play the run and how they play in the trenches up front.
We may get a look at that right away as this drive starts. Devin Brumfield to the left of Tyler Huntley on a 2-by-2 set in the shotgun.
4 receivers.
Huntley calls a man in motion. He'll hand it off. It's a jet sweep. Oh, he'll keep it himself. Up the right side. He's got room and swung down just past the 40-yard line.
That, in fact, is actually...
Excuse me, that is Jason Shelley.
Yes, it is.
Jason Shelley in this ballgame. And that is a somewhat significant development. We apologize for missing that.
No. Tyler Huntley came back in. That was just a one-play thing, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
there you go.
I was about to say, I was like, man, it looks like Tyler Huntley's running fantastic, and in fact, that was Jason Shelley at quarterback.
Tyler Huntley back in the game. Utah first down from their own 41-yard line, 6:45 to go, and counting in the first quarter. Snap, throw over, is caught up by a stumbling receiver who's knocked down and thrown out of bounds at the 47 after a great play. That's Samson Nakua with his first reception of the game.
And that was just a physical run after the catch. Not a great throw. We kind of hit the wrong shoulder, which made the bubble route take a little bit longer. But, man, a great run after the catch to put his head down and get a couple extra yards.
Bit of a slow developing play, but got a good hunk of yards for Utah, and it'll be 2nd and 4 coming up. In the pistol now is Tyler Huntley. It looks like Devin Bromfield behind him, 2 receivers on the far side with a winged tight end on the right. Snap taken, fakes the handoff. Stepping back is Huntley. He'll throw to the left side, wide open, and making the catch. That is Brian Thompson, his first reception of the ball game. He leads the team with touchdown catches with 2, and that moves the chains for Utah.
Yeah, Washington State's allowing guys to get wide open, and Tyler Huntley, as much as I've knocked him for his throwing ability, he's going to make that throw every single time.
Wholesale changes on the defensive line. They'll bring in Nnamdi Aguayo.
You know what's interesting on this drive is that they've really spread it out a lot more. The first drive was a lot more compact, a lot of tight formations. This has not been the case here. They've really spread it out this drive.
And we're going to have our first official review of the ball game as the booth has whistled down to review whether or not that was a catch made by Utah. And we're going to have to really look. We're going to have to really crouch down here in the booth to see if we can see any replay on the jumbotron. We're not going to be able to see it at all. So while they're going over this review, we're going to.
Can I ask you a silly question? This might be very silly. I don't know the answer to this. How did you know so quickly that was a booth review? Because there was no indication to me. You clearly knew something that I did not know. What happened there?
So no timeout was called by either team. Yep. And I don't know if this is at every level of college football, but at least in the Pac-12 or in the Division I,
yes.
To challenge, your coach will call a timeout. Yes. They'll announce the timeout, and then the official will come over and you'll issue your challenge.
Yes.
So since that happened without the referee coming over to the Washington State sideline, a booth review is signaled there.
I love that. Fun little nuance. I didn't even know. That's awesome.
So we will see a booth review, and I am trying to get a good look at this, and I cannot. We are, for those of you at home, we'll try to post a picture on our KUGR social media accounts. You can hop over to Zach Shomler's account, and as I believe he posted a picture of where we are.
I got a good angle. I'm down almost on the ground. Hey, there's another scoreboard over there. There's the scoreboard on our right and another one on our left. It was in Shawn had a light in his way. I got a great angle, though.
Perfect. So
we can see the replay if they'll replay it.
Yeah, hopefully they'll show us the replay. Maybe it was incomplete. We're going to get the announcement right here.
I'll tell you what, though, man. Right now, Utah's moving the ball significantly better than Washington State, which is a surprise to me.
And the catch is confirmed. Sorry about that, Zach, but a catch made and a great catch. And once again, man left wide open by Washington State's defense. Maybe wholesale changes, bringing a couple pass rushers into this ballgame. Willie Taylor to the third and Nnamdi Aguayo. Maybe that'll heat up Tyler Huntley a little bit as he takes the snap in the shotgun. Quick handoff, and that is Jahad Wood slings down the running back immediately. That is Jordan Wilmore.
You know, an outside zone concept there by Utah, and Washington State played it great. They hit the edge, and did not. Looks like Utah actually lost half a yard. That's what I was curious to see. Can Washington State play physically in the run game? And right now, it's actually Utah's throwing the ball all over Washington State. The running game is actually what Utah struggling with. English, it's hard.
It is hard. 2-by-1 set, 2 backs in the backfield. They'll motion a man out. And they'll put him in motion again. Lots of motion pre-snap. They'll fake the handoff. Tyler Huntley keeps it. He's got room down the left side, and he'll slide down inside the 15-yard line. Tyler Huntley making Washington State's defense look silly. He's down at the 15-yard line. First down and 10 for Utah.
You know, he stuttered a little bit as he took off. I wonder if that is the foot injury playing a part. He got up with a little bit of a hobble, but he's actually running pretty well. And they're bringing in Jason Shelley now at quarterback.
Shelley in at quarterback. Wholesale changes to the skill positions of this Utah offense. Wazoo standing pat on defense. They've got the big boys up front. Nnamdi Aguayo, Willie Taylor, Will Rogers III, and Dallas Hobbs on the defensive line. It's a big pass rushers.
3 receivers.
Heavy sets, shotgun. They'll fake the jet sweep. They'll give him the ball, actually, and a big tackle made. Daniel Easton bangs him down. That is Devin Bromfield, and it'll be a short gain of about 3. Wholesale changes on the defense once again, as both teams actually switch up a bunch of skill position guys, and I believe Tyler Huntley is back in the ballgame.
You know, that wasn't a bad run, though. Now they're 2nd and 6? That's a good position if I was Utah's offense.
2nd and 6. They'll go shotgun. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the far. We're going left to right here in Utah. Movement on the offensive line, no flag. As the throw is made, incomplete. Fake handoff. And Tyler Huntley was hit as he threw that football.
Yeah, you know, what Utah did is run play action and pulled the safeties down to the line of scrimmage with a slant behind it, man coverage, and Tyler Huntley missed the throw. Now, I don't blame him, hit as he throws, but that's a good look, and they got to complete that.
After a playoff, Nnamdi Aguayo and Will Rogers III checking in, a couple new skill position players for Utah. As we'll see, 3rd down and 6 from the Washington State 11-yard line. Cougs looking to force another field goal attempt. Utah missing a short field goal from around this spot in the field earlier in the ballgame. They'll send a man in motion. Solomon Ennis will come in tight. Tyler Huntley back, completes the pass, right side, touchdown, Utah. That's Devontae Henry Cole in the end zone, and the Utes take a 6-0 lead here in the first.
Great execution there by Utah's offense, man. Linebacker tried to follow the running back out of the backfield, wasn't able to get there, and pretty significant touchdown by Utah.
6-0 with 4:03 to go here in the first quarter. They'll send in Jaden Redding, who has yet to miss an extra point this season, 13-13 from the extra point distance.
The orange cleats he's wearing, I love them.
Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is good, and Utah takes a 7-0 lead over Washington State with just over 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter.
And man, once again, I want to go back to Washington State's offense hasn't moved the ball as well as I would have liked, and Utah's moving the ball up and down the field on them. I'm curious to see how they respond after this touchdown. You know, one of the keys of the game to me was who can win the emotional battle in this game. Utah last week lost a really tough game to a third-string quarterback, and in the end of the game, when they needed a stop on defense, their defensive line let them down and allowed Utah to run all over them. And then we, of course, know what happened to Washington State. They give them a 32-point lead. So the emotion of this game is going to matter. And right now, Utah has a significant momentum.
And you wonder if those emotions start to settle down as this game goes on. Utah gets this early touchdown. You wonder if both teams can kind of settle down, get back within themselves. And Utah, this offense is what we thought it was. Heavy run, Tyler Huntley attempting passes and completing the ones that are given to him. Not necessarily making the big splashy plays downfield, although he did a couple down the sideline.
But if you leave guys wide open, I mean, man, he's a Division I quarterback. Yes. He's doing his job, and I think he's actually playing better than I would have expected.
Yeah, he's a Power 5 quarterback in the Division I. He's a top 50 at worst. You know, he's a good quarterback.
Kind of give him crap for the way he throws. Yeah, he's not Andrew Luck. No. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he's still a Division I quarterback capable of making good throws.
He is indeed. Cougs looking to answer. Anthony Gordon having a bit of an off night so far. 3 of 6 for only 23 yards. A couple of dangerous throws that his receivers had to play a little bit of defense on. We'll see if he can get back into it.
You know, Washington State looks out of sync right now. You know, Anthony Gordon has hit the wrong shoulder on a couple throws. Utah's playing great coverage downfield. Anthony has to run around a lot. I'm curious to see if they can get some stuff off quicker, because right now Utah's playing the ball really, really well, playing coverage really, really well.
And you'd like to see as a slight miss still falling here in Utah, or has just begun as everyone throws on their
I'm telling you, man, that gives Washington State an advantage. The ball's easier to throw, and it's just a tad bit wet. It's a little bit more tacky.
And we hope to see that. If you're a Washington State fan, if you're a Utah fan, you hope that this rain comes down in buckets to get the running game as the main way to...
You know, buckets is tough for everybody, because then you got to handle snaps. It's a whole mess. I got to say, man, when the game started, we're talking about emotion. For me, I was cold when this game started. I had a long sleeve jacket on, and the minute the kickoff happened, my adrenaline got going. I'm warm out. I'm like squatting on the sideline I feel like a coach. It's so much fun.
It is a blast here in Utah. We have a sideline report from Brian Chapman rather. We're going to get to that after this kickoff. At the change of possession, Andrew Strosh out to kick this ball away.
And I'll tell you what, I'm so excited to hear what he has to say. I love Brian. He's got a great mind. And I'm sure he's got something fascinating for us.
And a great mind for football. We also like to take this opportunity to thank him for letting us stay in his home while we were down here in Salt Lake City broadcasting this football game. We couldn't do it without you, Brian.
Very kind. Got a great family, really nice wife. Love it.
Strosh will run up and kick this ball away, up 7-0 here in the first quarter. Travell Harris will let it bounce over his head as we go down to the sidelines with Brian Chapman. Brian, what do you have for us?
Hey, guys. After the last two Ute possessions, it's been interesting. The offensive line coach for Utah continues to stress discipline and watching the gaps. Apparently, the offensive line has not been as disciplined as they would like, and they're trying to set up more of a pocket for Huntley to throw in rather than move out. Second, defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley continues to stress watching the balls being thrown over the top, wanting to play a deep six It's hard to see down here, but if they're running a cover 6 or something of the sort, they're worried about the backside and letting receivers get over the top. I'll continue listening. Now back up to you.
Thank you, Brian. And while we were away, a face mask penalty called on Utah. That'll be a 15-yard penalty, so the Cougs will start at the 40-yard line, and a massive penalty by Utah.
Yeah, you know what I love what Brian was talking about is Utah runs a zone running team quite often, and they got to step to the right zone to talk to like that. The other thing in the passing game, what he talked about with zones is that in their pass protection coverage, this guy has this gap, this guy has the next gap. There's gap responsibility, not a man responsibility. And so if they do a cross, if the defensive line crosses each other, you just got to stay home and stay in your gap. And it sounds like the offensive line is not happy with the way they're doing that, not doing it up to his snuff.
That penalty issuing a new media timeout. So we've got a couple more minutes to talk here, and I want to talk about this Utah defense who has really stepped up in this game, got a little bit pushed around in the USC game. But you mentioned when we were doing prep, they were really in the right spots. USC was just making plays.
Yeah, man, USC's wide receivers last week are, I think, the best group in the Pac-12. And there were plays where they had two guys in position last week, and then Utah's receiver would jump over both of them and, kind of posterize one of the guys and run for 70 yards for a touchdown. As much as I love Washington State's wide receivers, they got a lot of guys, I think, quality across the board, really good starters. They don't have anybody who can jump over two guys and catch the ball and run for 70 yards for a touchdown. So I think the fact that Utah's been in great position all night, the same way they were with USC, but this week they're playing against a not quite as skilled a set of receivers. That's why they're having success early.
And that could spell problems for this Washington State team. As you mentioned, empty boxes. You like to see Max Borg get the ball. You mentioned something.
Yeah, so Brian talked about how they're concerned about the backside. Often what Utah is doing is playing man coverage on the backside. Usually it's Tay Martin in single. He's the lone receiver on the backside. And apparently they're concerned with safeties. My guess is getting over the top and helping out vertically. And so that's something to look forward to is, does Washington State complete passes vertically over the top to the backside? Usually it's often Tate Martin or Aesop Winston Jr.
This is one of the more explosive offenses that Mike Leach has ever run. Normally up there in yards per game and passing yards per game, but this year up there in the yards per attempt stat as well. Anthony Gordon over 9 yards per attempt 4 games into this season, and in the air raid, that's not normally something you see is you take what the defense gives you. But he's had a number of passes downfield that he's completed with ease.
Well, also I got to say, I've said they don't have they don't have an NFL receiver on this team probably, but they have quality and depth across the board.
3-by-1 set as Anthony Gordon starts this drive at his own 40-yard line. Borgie in the backfield and Roderick Fisher alone on the near side. Roderick getting a lot of playing time in this ball game early. Gordon takes the snap. He'll hand it off to Borgie, who busts up the right side, pushes the pile. He'll gain about 4 yards before he stood up, and the whistles are blown. Utah able to make the stop, but not after a 4-yard gain.
And that time, Roderick Fisher, number 88, was on the backside on the left side, alone. It was man coverage. One safety that might be able to play over the top to help. But that's, again, we got to watch for that. Can the safety get over the top and help on the backside?
As Dion McIntosh checks into the game 2-by-1 with 2 running backs in the backfield for Anthony Gordon in this Washington State offense. Roderick Fisher on the near side still.
I love the 2-back set.
They'll motion McIntosh out to the right side. Gordon looks. He'll throw to Fisher, who makes the catch and is just across the 50-yard line. That'll give him enough for the first down, and the Cougs are into Utah territory for the first time this afternoon.
Apparently Mike Leach is yelling about execution. That right there is great execution. It's a good throw, perfectly in the spot he needs to be. That's why that's a first down, is because Anthony Gordon hit the right spot.
As the Cougs quickly back up to the line, 2-by-2 is the set with Borgie in the backfield. Utah remains very deep on the back end, nearly just over 15 yards past the line. Gordon claps his hands, takes the snap. He'll hand it off to Borgie, who cuts it right and has a gap, but he'll be tripped down after a gain of about 6. Good gain for Borgie. 2nd and 4 coming up.
That's what I've been talking about all game, man. A 6-yard run on first down. I think they got to go to that slightly more. I know that's not what Mike Leach's offense, but the way Utah's playing on defense is allowing them to get a lot of yards on run plays.
2-by-2 set. Similar empty box as every play so far in this drive. Borgie in the backfield. Man in motion to the near side is Bell. Anthony Gordon takes the snap. Pressure. Throw over the middle. It's nearly caught. Wrong shoulder again. As Roderick Fisher drops that pass. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Yeah, it's the fine details for Anthony Gordon. That's it. He's open. The receiver's open. There's a defender on his back, but he still beat his man by his step. You got to hit the right spot there, and Anthony Gordon didn't.
As Rice-Eccles Stadium on their feet once again. 3rd down and 4 from the 43-yard line of Utah. We're at 2:21 in this ball game here in the first quarter.
And this stadium is getting loud, man. They're roaring.
Cougs may be in 4-down territory with Mike Leach. And this offense trips to the right. Fisher alone on the near side. Borgie in the backfield. Man across. Gordon surveys the defense. Borgie in motion to the right side. Quick pass to Borgie. He's got room up the right side. Bell with a block, and they'll sling Borgie out past the 28-yard line. First down, Cougs.
Dude, that was such a good play design. I love seeing that. What they did is put the running back in motion. The linebacker could not get through the sift of receivers. That's why he was wide open. I mean, that's by Max Borgie. That's awesome. That's a great play design and call by Mike Leach.
Great play design and a great play by Max Borgie as Deion McIntosh checks into the ball game. They're going to send somebody out, or they're going to have to.
You know, that's a weakness here. If Utah keeps playing man coverage and they send running backs to the flats, linebackers have to sift through the mess to get there, and it's going to allow running backs to get wide open.
McIntosh in for Borgie. Borgie's first play off all game. 2-by-2 set. They're going to send Bell in motion to the left side once again. He'll be trips at the snap. Gordon looking to the right. Pressure. He'll throw to McIntosh. Incomplete. Just through his hands, and 2nd down and 10 coming up.
I don't know, man. He better be glad he didn't catch that. He would have got popped by Utah's defense, man. They were in position ready to hit him if he'd caught that.
Not a great play there by the offense as they'll look to get things going here on 2nd down. 2nd and 10 from the 29-yard line of Utah. 1 minute, 37 seconds to play here in this first quarter. 7-0 Utah over the Cougs.
You know, weird point. We were talking about the stadium being empty. It is now filled up. The stadium is now full. Awesome to see on homecoming.
It is a beautiful full stadium here in Utah. Trips to the right side. Fisher alone on the near side. And Deion McIntosh staying in the game at running back. We'll keep an eye on that. Gordon takes the snap, looks over the middle, throw is caught by Renard Bell, makes a man miss. He's tackled at the 8-yard line. That nearly hit the umpire, but a catch made and 1st and goal coming up for the Cougs.
Great job, Anthony Gordon. Good run after the catch to turn downfield, and oh man, I love that.
Near hash for the Washington State offense. 2-by-2 is the set. Borgie back in the ball game.
1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Anthony Gordon looking to get his team in the end zone and tie this pivotal Pac-12 contest at 7. Trips to the right side. Fisher alone on the near side. Tight man coverage on Fisher. Man in motion is Renard Bell. He's followed. He'll stop in the backfield. Quick throws hit to Harris. Harris was the man in motion. He's got a cut, and he is pushed back at the 4-yard line. They'll pick up about half the yardage needed for a touchdown. 2nd down and goal from the 4 coming up.
You know, that was kind of a screen look by Washington State, and Utah was actually in position to make the tackle. The running back beat them both defenders to the outside and somehow got the edge. And what could have been a loss by Washington State was made up by the running back getting downfield and getting a couple extra yards.
Nearing 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Bell checks out for McIntosh. 2-back set, 2-by-1 with Aesop Winston Jr. alone on the far side. We're playing on the far hash, going right to left. 25 seconds and counting in the first quarter. Gordon surveys the defense, calls for the snap. Looking to the right, looking back to the left, over the middle. Pass is caught into the end zone, and that's Aesop Winston. Excuse me, that is Deion McIntosh, and that is his first touchdown on the season.
Yeah, who's that guy? No offense
from
to him, but congratulations, man. First touchdown. That's awesome for him.
Deion McIntosh only 61 yards from scrimmage entering this game, all on rushing attempts. Transfer running back from Notre Dame. Providing some depth at the running back position as the other running back on the roster, Clay Markoff, more of a fullback type, has gotten some work early in this season, but has not seen any play yet in the Pac-12 season. Snap kick is up by Blake Mazza. It's up and through, and Washington State ties the game on a fairly impressive offensive drive at the end of this first quarter.
You know, right there, Utah, that whole drive basically played man coverage, and continually Washington State dialed up plays to beat man coverage. And one of the consistent themes I'm seeing for Washington State is regularly Anthony Gordon has guys open over the middle that have beaten their man by 1 step, so they're open but barely, about by a yard. So Anthony Gordon has to throw a great ball on the right shoulder, whatever shoulder's open. And on that touchdown he did, on a couple plays throughout that drive he did not. A consistent theme to watch is if he misses one of those throws against tight man coverage, it's likely going to be a pick if he throws behind a receiver. Can he continue to hit the right shoulder? Will he be able to do that all game? You know, my tagline, I guess, tonight is, I guess we'll wait and see. I'm excited. That's what I love about football is you make predictions and you build theories about the game, and then you find out what happens, and man.
Another reason it's the greatest sport in the world, football.
So many reasons.
Football transcends. It's an incredible sport, and I feel privileged to be here in the press box calling this game with you in this beautiful arena as see two Pac-12 heavyweights duke it out here in Utah.
You know, though, credit to playoff baseball. We talked about it earlier. Love football is the greatest sport in the world. Playoff baseball, though, man, it's so tense. It's like a thriller movie. I love playoff baseball, too.
It is definitely up there. Jack Crane will get ready to kick this ball away. With 17 seconds to go in the first quarter, we're going to send it back to Jack in the studio after this quarter for a studio break. We'll send it back to him after this quarter, but we got another 17 seconds to play, and with these teams, you never know what could happen in those 17 seconds. Jack Crane back, checks his line, raises his arm, and he'll run up a left-footed boot. Both kickoff specialists are left-footed in this ball game. No return, says Utah. It'll bounce out the back of the end zone.
You know, I got to say, man, I don't know why I was nervous. This is so much fun. So much fun. I love you. You're such a good broadcaster, and I
appreciate it. Your knowledge just elevates these broadcasts.
Man,
we appreciate having you. And
I could not imagine having my first broadcast be with anybody else. I know we've been talking about this for like a year and a half, and it's awesome.
We talked about bringing you over last season for a game, and then this season you were supposed to be on the call last week, but football happened and life happened, and this just happened to work
Zach
out.
Shomler's life happened.
Hey, you know, that's a life of a college student or a working person. It's just adult life. Trips to the right side. They'll move a tight end to the left, or to the right rather, near side. As the pistol snap is given to Huntley, he'll fake the handoff, rolls out, throws to the right side. The pass is caught and thrown out of bounds by Skylar Thomas. He busted the coverage again. Brian Thompson with the second reception of the game, and Utah moves the chains.
You know, he wasn't wide open that time. That's a great throw by Tyler Huntley. As this game goes on, I'm just continually more and more impressed by him.
5 seconds and counting. We're going to go to the end of the first quarter. Tie ball game 7-7. We're going to send it back to Jack in the studio. Jack, take it away. Thank you, Jack. We got about 2 minutes to go here before this quarter, or this half rather, gets back underway as we're here between the first and second quarter, 7-7. And Zach, really intriguing first quarter on all levels.
Yes. You know, I think we've been rewarded as fans of football for the 7-7 game. And again, we're still back to that same point from earlier. I have no idea who's going to win. I see some things going on. I really like the Utah continues to play man coverage. I think it's hurting them. And Washington State, their question is, can they execute on offense? But Tyler Huntley, to me, is the story of the game so far. The way he's throwing the ball, not running, throwing as Utah's quarterback, I'm so impressed.
Tyler Huntley, 6 of 8 for 120 yards and a touchdown in this ball game. He's looked good. He's also has 2 rushes for 23 yards. Normally a bit of a bigger part of his game, but with that possible foot injury, he did look fairly mobile in the first quarter. We'll see if that lasts with a full game under his belt, but Utah in great position.
Here's something we could talk about. I know it's not this game, but I feel so bad for USC. We got the studio update. USC lost to UW today. Man, if I can't imagine what kind of game that would have been if either their starting quarterback or at least their second-string quarterback would have played in that game.
Yeah, a 14-point loss with your third-string quarterback is not a terrible result.
No, their roster's so good. They beat Utah with a third-string quarterback, man. Like
it really shows what a disappointment last season was for USC, going 5-7 with the. Now the roster was not as stacked as this one. I believe it's gotten better. I also
their
believe
recruiting, man, is really skyrocketed.
They are, and they definitely had some injury concerns last season that hampered their growth. But to miss a bowl with that roster had to have been terrible for USC fans.
And man, USC up front in the trenches, their offensive defensive lines are so much better than they were last year, and so much bigger than most teams in the Pac-12.
So we get ready to get back underway. Tyler Huntley will climb out.
How about this game, huh?
It's incredible. Incredible game so far. So we just hope it continues at this rate the rest of the way. Tight end on the far side, trips to the near side for Huntley in the shotgun. Here's the snap. Huntley looking to the right, looking back to his left. So he'll throw deep down the middle, wide open. The catch is made. Touchdown. Samson Nakoa, busted coverage. It's a touchdown for Utah.
Man, that's just bad coverage. I'm so happy for Tyler Huntley, man. He's really throwing the ball well. And as the quarterback guy, I pride myself on being a quarterback analyst, man. I am so impressed by him. Yeah, Washington State just busted that coverage. That's like the 4th time tonight they've had a guy wide open. They cannot allow that on their defense.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the Cougar offense, who has been okay today, but not their normal fiery self through the first quarter, although they are the best second quarter team in the Pac-12 in terms of points scored, as the extra point by Jaden Redding is up and good. And the Cougs down by 7 once again, 14-7 here, just 9 seconds in to the second quarter.
Yeah, dude, the story of the game so far is Utah's success throwing the ball. I mean, we were talking before the broadcast started how I can't imagine two more opposite offenses. Washington State throwing the ball so well all over the field, and Utah's a run-heavy offense. So far in this game, I've been dead wrong. I love watching it, man. I love what Utah's doing, and I'm so impressed by their play design.
Secondary continues to be problematic for the Cougs as they give up a two-play 75-yard touchdown drive, taking only 26 seconds off the clock. That's not something you want to see if you're a Washington State fan. And the defense continues to struggle just 15 minutes into this ballgame.
You know what Utah's doing, though? Because of that run threat, they run play action. It pulls the safeties down close to the line of scrimmage. That's how they got right behind the Cougar defense that time. Man.
Anthony Gordon will be back out at the end of this media timeout.
And how does Anthony Gordon respond? Again, it's the fine details, the granular little details with him. And if he executes them, they're probably going to win this game and have a lot of success. But so far, it's the little things, hitting receivers on the wrong shoulder, missed block here and there on a screen pass. That screen pass on the goal line, the offensive linemen didn't get out of their blocks and get downfield to block anybody. It's the fine details for Washington State. If they can execute, of course, they'll have a lot of success. If they don't, they're going to continue to struggle the way they have.
And the Cougs yet to stop Utah on offense, as their only drive without points was a missed chip shot field goal. Maybe not chip shot. That might be a little too rough on the Utah kicker.
How funny is it to me that Washington State fans are so spoiled. Anthony Gordon is 8 for 13, 73 yards passing, a touchdown, and I feel like he's struggling.
Yeah.
Wow.
It really shows how advanced the passing game for Washington State has been the last 4 to 5 years with Luke Falk, Gardner Minshew, and now Anthony Gordon.
The word I would think of is prolific. I mean, they just are so and actually, I'll be very honest, I don't know what that means. I hear people say that. It's just impressive. That's the word I should have used. I'm so impressed every week by Washington's offense and how many points they put up. And it's just, they're doing a fantastic job.
Cougs out to return the kick. It'll be Andrew Schrosch once again to kick away. As Utah climbs out, looking to put this ball in the air with the 7-point lead. 14 minutes, 51 seconds to play in the second quarter, 14-7
Little
Utah.
bit of light rain coming down. And what I want to see this drive is how does Washington State play man cover? Again, what do they do against man covers? Mike Leach is going to dial up plays to beat that like he did last drive. And I'm curious to see how they continue that.
Washington State looking for an answer. Have yet to trail by more than 7 points all season. And the kickoff to Travell Harris. He'll let it go over his head, and the Cougs will start at their own 25-yard line.
So as I was talking about, man, against man coverage, what you want to do is what's called move routes. Guys are crossing the field. Guys are starting in the backfield, moving outside to the right. Lots of movement and crossing is what I think we're going to see from Washington State's offense if Utah continues to play man coverage.
As Utah's defense out on the field, here comes the Washington State offense. See Desmond Patman, Travell Harris, Tay Martin, Renard Bell, and Max Borghi in the ballgame for the Washington State Cougars. Starting a bunch formation, they'll spread out to 2x2 with Borghi in the backfield. 3 deep safeties, quick snap. And the pass is caught over the middle by Max Borghi, makes one man miss and is tackled down just shy of the 30-yard line, call it the 29 for a 4-yard gain.
Okay, I'm learning something about Utah's defense. When they drop those 3 safeties like that, that's going to be zone coverage. And where there's a void in the defense, or what a small, window, is between the numbers and the hash, where linebackers are inside the corners playing the flat. There's kind of a void between them at about 6 yards.
Trips to the right, Anthony Gordon with Max Borghi in the backfield. Tay alone on the far side, man coverage across.
Zone, he's got his eyes inside.
Zone.
They're going to drop off.
Here's the snap by Gordon, or to Gordon. Throw over the middle, caught. There's Bell. He's up the right sideline. Makes one man miss with a spin move. Tackle down to the 43. First down, Washington State.
No, by the way, you were right. That was they gave a man coverage look and then late backed off. And so one of the things you can watch for, and maybe people can learn listening, is when a defender has his eyes inside on the quarterback, that's zone coverage. And when his eyes are square up on the receiver, that's man coverage. And right there, they were square up right until about before the snap. And then Utah's entire defense turned their eyes inside to the quarterback.
Good disguise by Utah, but Washington State able to suss it out. Trips to the right side. Anthony Gordon takes the handoff, delayed handoff rather, to Borghi. And it'll be about a 4-yard pickup, call it 3. Second down and 7 coming up for the Cougs.
And man coverage there by Utah. And Utah's playing a really low-hanging safety at about 8 yards. I think they're concerned about plays over the middle, and that's why they're leaving a safety there instead of working him outside the hash. As
you mentioned, to play an area of the field USC really exploited in their contest last week.
And BYU. BYU really beat Utah over the middle of the field.
BYU as well. Bell a move to the left side. It'll be trips left at the snap. Gordon looks over the middle, looking left. He's in trouble, hustles away, throws it, and it's caught by Des Patman. An incredible play by Anthony Gordon as he's going down. And it's a reception, first down at the 34-yard line of Utah, and an incredible play by the Washington State offense in trouble.
Yeah, before the game I talked about how what I love is the way Anthony Gordon moves within the pocket. He did that. He stepped up, slid to the right, threw the ball down the right side, and that's a great play by him. And by the way, BYU didn't shred Utah to any means, but where they had the most success was that about 15 yards down the middle of the field.
Dion McIntosh and Max Borgi in the backfield, 2-by-1. Patman alone on the near side. Snap taken. Gordon looks to the left, over the middle. It's nearly picked off. Incomplete. Second down coming up. And Anthony Gordon did not see the hanging safety. And that's an incomplete pass.
We talked about this in the car, I think, this morning when you picked me up from the airport, I guess my hotel, is Anthony Gordon often doesn't square his shoulders very well over the middle of the field. And he's throwing the ball outside his receiver, so he's got to lead them more into the middle. He left that behind the receiver a little bit, and that's why the defender was able to make a play.
Jalavin Gadri there on the pass defense. 5 wide for the first time all night for Anthony Gordon. Second down from the 34-yard line of Utah. 12:43 to play in the second quarter. Utah leads 14-7. Snap taken by Gordon. Quick throw to the left side. The pass is incomplete. Nearly held in by Bernard Bell. It's incomplete. Third down and 10.
That is heartbreaking, man. They had a great look. That's a great throw. I know the defender's right there, but you got to make that catch.
Max Borgi back in the game. And Cassie Woods to the sidelines.
I guarantee you Mike Leach is furious. It's those fine details. Again, I've been saying it all game. And right now, Washington State is not executing those fine details very well.
Cougs need 10. They're at Utah's 34-yard line. 2-by-2 with Borgi in the backfield. Very light box. Gordon takes the snap, looking to the left. Pressured. Throwing to the right side. Patman just overthrown. Incomplete. Fourth down coming up. For Washington State.
Yeah, man, Utah is playing great defense and great coverage. Every throw Anthony Gordon has to make needs to be perfect. His receivers are open, but by about a step, and that's NFL-level throws if you're going to complete them. And right now, Anthony Gordon is just not quite good enough. If guys are wide open, he's great. Nobody's wide open in this game. Utah's playing great coverage.
Offense was staying on the field, but a late move. They'll bring out the kicking unit with 15 seconds on the play clock. This is a very long field goal. 51-yard attempt. It would be a career high, or it'd be a career long, rather, for Blake Mazza. 7 on the play clock. It's counting. 4, 3, 2. The snap to Kisevich is good. The kick is up. It's towards the uprights, and it is good. Blake Mazza, rather, bangs through a career-long 51-yarder. It's 14-10 with 12:25 to play in the second quarter. What a kick from Blake Mazza.
And now he still has not missed a kick all year. That's so impressive to me.
An incredible kicker for Washington State. He's 29-29 on extra points. 6 of 6 on field goal attempts, and a new career long at 51 on that attempt right there.
And what was that narrative we were talking about with Washington State kickers where for a while Mike Leach didn't give them scholarships?
Yeah, his first few seasons at Washington State, Mike Leach refused to give a scholarship to his kickers, and it cost him a game as Washington State missed a 19-yard field goal at the end of regulation to lose 60-59 to Cal in an absolutely heartbreaking loss.
And that night, Mike Leach learned the value of putting kickers on scholarship and having a good kicker, and he certainly does now with Blake Mazza.
He certainly does, as we're going to kick it down to Brian Chapman on the sideline. Brian, what do you have for us?
Utah's had some success throwing over the top. Expect that to continue. They stressed it on the sideline. They are looking to exploit the Cougar secondary if they can. They will continue to throw over the top. The players, the coaches, they all believe in that game plan. It looks like they're going to try an air raid of their own.
Thank you, Brian. We're going to send it over now to our other sideline reporter in Brandon Chapman. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Well, thanks very much, Shawn. Coach Leach is making it a point to let all of his receivers know they have to do a better job at the line of scrimmage, creating contact between they and the defenders. Right now, he says you have to be more aggressive. And obviously, some of the receivers that we've seen tonight are getting manhandled by Utah defenders. Leach said, you've got the body size, and I don't want to hear any excuses. Go out there and be aggressive. So right now, Zach, Shawn, that's what Leach is saying. In addition to the routine plays that we talked about earlier, that aggressiveness is going to help win football games.
Thank you, Brandon. Gets to hear from both sideline reporters in that break, which is always great, and great points from both Brandon and Brian Chapman. We appreciate both of their work helping us out with this broadcast.
You know, it's cool to hear what Mike Leach is saying. Physicality, I guess, is the main point he's hitting on. And I mean, he's not wrong. That's why consistently Washington State receivers aren't making catches with defenders on their back. It's physicality. It's not boxing guys out and not being afraid to get pushed around. That's their aggressiveness and their physicality to the line is really, really important.
It is indeed. Washington State pulling within 4 points, but kicking back to this Utah offense, who has really had their way with Washington State so far in this ballgame.
What a blessing to have those guys, by the way, man. They are really giving us great insight.
Yeah, incredible work by both of the Chapmans. We appreciate their contribution to this broadcast and for helping us put this game on the air as Jack Crane kicks this ball away over the back of the receivers and out the back of the end zone for a touchback. No kickoff has been returned tonight. Washington State fans probably happy with that after giving up a touchdown return against UCLA, a touchdown that's ended up being one of the contributing factors to sealing that game away.
Maybe that's a fun storyline is, will we ever see a kickoff return tonight?
Got a couple big leg kickoff specialists in this ballgame. We might not.
And we can celebrate when you finally get one. Yes!
I get to call a return. Returns are kind of fun to call, I gotta say.
Yeah?
You get the seams, and it gets exciting.
Any reason for me to celebrate is a great one.
Single back formation, heavy side to the right with 2 receivers. Huntley sends a man in motion as the tight end. He'll give it to the tight end, who is tackled by Sherman but pushed out of bounds after about a 5-yard gain. That's tight end is Brian Keith, who leads the team in receptions by tight ends.
So yards after contact is something Utah's doing really well. Defenders are in the right place for Washington State, but as they make contact and hit players running by Utah, they fall forward for another 3 yards every single time. That time the tight end kept moving his body, kept turning his legs, and got another 3 yards after contact. That's why part of why Utah's moving the ball so well.
Heavy set, 1 receiver near side, and a single back formation. They're going to send Damari Simpkins in motion, who stops at the line. Big hole, but a great tackle at the line. It'll be a gain of about 4 yards, 3rd down and 1 coming up, but a great first down saving tackle there by the defensive line of Washington State.
I almost wonder if the Washington State defense is listening to me. That time, he did not fall forward for as many yards, and they really were stout.
3rd down and 1 for Utah.
Oh, a big
Tyler Huntley,
one.
Yeah, it's a massive play here in this ball game. 11 minutes and 40 seconds to go, and this might be the biggest 3rd down so far in this contest. 2 by 1, Huntley in the shotgun with the tight end to his left.
Well, even if they can get the first down, field position, getting an extra first down, the punt would go farther if they do.
They're going to hand it off, hit at the line of scrimmage, but able to fall forward. Is Jordan Wilmore, another first down for Utah.
And the rain is beginning to fall. And again, what I mean is, so if this drive fails anyways, that first down means the punt will go that much farther if indeed they do ever have to punt this drive.
Wholesale changes on the defensive line, bringing the pass rush back. Will Rogers, Dallas Hobbs, and Nnamdi Aguayo now in on the defensive line.
I think it's the heaviest I've seen the rain all night.
It is coming down quite hard.
Wonder how our guys are doing down on the sideline.
The Chapmans may be having some issues right about now. We might see Brandon up in the studio here in a second. 2-back set, snap taken by Huntley. He's looking deep, pressured. Throw is a check down, caught, and tackled there by Ron Stone Jr.
Great discipline by Huntley, taking what the defense gives him, not forcing the ball downfield. I'm very impressed with the way he's playing tonight.
It was Devin Bromfield out of the backfield on that reception. 2nd down and 4 coming up from the 43-yard line of Utah as we're nearing the 10-minute mark in the second.
They have such a deep running back unit. Utah does. They clearly value that position so much. And it's really cool to see what they're doing. They just cycle through guys. Like we were talking before the game, every year some third-string running back comes out of nowhere and runs for 100 yards.
Yeah, it is a key point to this Utah offense. Shotgun snap taken. Huntley hands it off. Big hole up right side. First down for Utah, and a great carry there. Jordan Wilmore picks up about 15. Another first down for Utah.
They were physical in the hole. That's a great look by Utah. Great job. Pulling blocks on the left, on the outside. Man, that's awesome.
First down and 10 from the Washington State 47-yard line. Utah in great position to put some more points on the board in this ballgame as we've passed the 10-minute mark here in the second quarter.
2 really good first downs in a row by Utah. Their offense is churning, moving the ball really, really well.
Huntley will go under center with
tight
Jordan
formation.
Wilmore.
A lot of heavy guys inside.
Heavy set, 2 receivers near side. Wilmore in the backfield. Huntley fakes the handoff and rolls right. He's looking deep. He's throwing to the end zone, and the play is made by the defender. Great play by Derek Lanford, backup cornerback for Marcus Strong. He makes the play, and it's 2nd down and 10.
So that, I think, is the first time I've seen the limitation of throwing the football by Tyler Huntley. That's a tighter window. The receivers only beat his man by 1 step, and he wasn't able to put the ball in the right spot.
Samson Nakua, along with another skill position player, checking in for Utah.
And what he did there, by the way, he missed the ball inside. On a deep throw like that, you got to put it over the outside shoulder closer to the sideline. He missed farther inside, closer to the numbers, and you can't have that on deep balls.
2 by 2 in the shotgun. Huntley takes the ball, and it's a draw up the middle. Great tackle. And, incomplete pass. That play fake really bit me. Instant incomplete pass, 3rd down and 10. I apologize, folks.
That's kind of a wrinkle on the triple option where you run a zone read inside. Tyler Huntley kept the ball, and then instead of pitching like we would in a triple option, he threw the ball outside to the wide receiver, and the receiver couldn't hang on to the ball.
3rd down and 10 as the heavy rain continues to fall here in Utah.
And I don't know the rain was a factor on that play. That just wasn't a great accurate throw.
An excellent play fake, but bad execution by your play-by-play announcer. I apologize. 2 by 2 with the runner in the backfield. Huntley takes the snap, looking right. He's got a man. The catch is made, but an excellent open field tackle by Washington State. It'll be 4th down and 3. Samson Nakua on the reception.
And they were so soft on that. The corner gave up way too many yards. I think they're going to go for it here, but that's because Washington State allowed them to get yards like that. That's not great coverage.
It'll be 4th down and a long one. On the Washington State 38-yard line, Utah's offense will stay on the field, and this is where they make their money. Short down and distance, pound the rock. But as soon as I say that, they come out in the shotgun. 2 by 1 with the tight end, single receiver on the far side. Heavy set by the Washington State defense, only a single safety. Draw play, and the running back is hit. He's driven back, and that is not enough for the 1st down. A big stand by Washington State's defense, their first stop of the afternoon, and the Cougars take over at their own 40-yard line with just under 9 minutes to play in the 2nd quarter.
Wow, so guess what the Utah running back did not do that time? He didn't fall forward for any yards. They were stout in the hole. Great play by Washington State's defense, bottling him up and not letting him get any yards after contact.
And if on cue, the rain diminishes to a drizzle, and Anthony Gordon's offense is coming out in perfect passing weather.
The gods are in favor of Anthony Gordon.
What
apparently.
in the world is going on in this game? Anthony Gordon, 11-19, 110 yards and a touchdown.
That was like, what, it rained for like 4 minutes?
It rained for the duration of the Utah drive. This is insane work by the weather, as we will.
So as I'm sure our sideline reporter tells us, there is still light mist, but again, that's great for throwing. They got balls and towels, and especially if the ball gets a little wet and you dry it off, that's when the ball is in perfect condition to throw it, man.
As our local or our resident college quarterback expert chimes in on how he likes the football, and that blew my mind when you were talking about that this morning with Brian Chapman.
Me and Brian pointed out to me, I was like, you're right. My favorite practices were those kind of wet, misty practices. I threw the ball best.
As we appreciate the insight, as I assumed any moisture was bad.
Well, that's why quarterbacks lick their fingers. They lick their fingers to get a little bit of moisture, and you don't have to lick your fingers as much when it's misting like this.
That's a good point. It's the limitations of a non-player mind.
Well, man, I remember getting made fun of in high school by girls going, "Why do you lick your fingers so much?" I'm like, it helps. I promise you, it makes it easier to throw the ball.
And if it works, it works, and it'll work for this Washington offense as they look to keep things going. 141 yards from scrimmage, being outgained by Utah by over 100 yards. They'll like to change that on this drive, or work towards changing that here on this drive. Anthony Gordon trots out on the field. Aesop Winston, Bernard Bell, Dion McIntosh, Max Borghi, and Roderick Fisher in the game for Washington State.
I got a question. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask this. Is it Aesop or Aesop? Because I hope I've been saying his name right all night. I've always said Aesop.
Okay, and I've always said Aesop. So we'll check the media guide at halftime and see who's right.
We'll right the wrong, whichever one of us is wrong.
He'll be Winston the rest of the quarter. 2-by-1 set with Fisher alone on the top. We're moving from left to right here in Salt Lake City. Gordon in the shotgun, as he always is, with 2 running backs and only 1 high safety for Utah, at least before the official signal's ready to play.
And it looks early. It looks like it might be man coverage. They got one high safety in the middle. Every receiver is covered by a man. And there's two running backs in the backfield. And
pressure shown by Utah.
Help on the single receiver side. He's over the top.
Here's the snap to Gordon. Shovel pass. It's picked up by McIntosh, who has a blocker, and he'll be just shy, or maybe they'll give it to him. It'll depend on the spot of the first down, about 10 yards. Heavy pressure there on Gordon. Good job of getting it out and taking what the defense will give him, and they will be just short second and inches coming up.
And I'll tell you what, that was actually zone coverage. Here's what I learned recently, and I've still been working on identifying this with coverages. The tell of whether it's man coverage or zone coverage sometimes English, is if there's the boundary safety, where is he playing? The safety told us that time it's probably zone coverage because he had nobody he was covering.
3-by-1 trips to the far side. Borghi fakes the handoff. Winston picks up the screen pass, tunnel screen, well executed. He's got a man, or he's got a blocker. He's down to the 32-yard line, and that's a first down for Washington State. And the Cougs love their tunnel screens, and they're one of the best teams in the country at executing.
They did a great job. The offensive line did a great job that time, getting rid of their blocks. What they do on a screen pass like that is they let the defenders, the defensive line, come into them, then they shuck them, throw them to the right or left, and get downfield to find a new defender. Great job executing by the O-line that time, doing just that.
2-by-1, Aesop Jr., or Winston Jr. rather, on the near side. 7:40 to play and running. Cougs at the 33-yard line of Utah, looking to take the lead for the first time tonight. Gordon takes the snap. He's pressured. He's rolling to his right. He'll throw to McIntosh, who's thrown down for a loss.
Unfortunate they completed that, man. Like, if he just dropped the ball, let it go to the ground, they would have lost 5 yards.
Second down and a long 16 coming up for Washington State. They're at their own 39-yard line. Mike Leach cannot be happy with that play right there.
It's just kind of an unfortunate play. You know, Anthony Gordon did a great job buying time, and he saw a guy open, threw him the ball, and the Utah defender made a great play to make the tackle.
2-by-2 set as McIntosh will take a seat. Borghi in the backfield.
Bunch formation on each side. That means the two receivers are really tight to each other instead of being spread wide.
Gordon surveys the defense.
I guess the word is stacked.
Big gap in the middle. Gordon takes the snap. Looking, he'll throw to the right side. Winston juggles but hangs on, and he'll pick up most of the yardage on that first down miss. He'll pick up more, actually, and it'll be third down and about 7 coming up.
So I said that time the receivers were stacked. What that means is they're about 2 yards next to each other. One's in front of the other. As the first receiver takes off downfield and clears out, the number 2 receiver behind him found a window and was able to get open.
It'll be third down and 5 as the rain comes down harder here in Salt Lake City.
They're getting loud.
It's a loud stadium here. Trips to the right side. Aesop alone on the near. Gordon signals. Man across. Line up, movement on the offensive line, no flag. Gordon will go to the right side, and apparently there was a flag, no whistles.
It better not be Liam Ryan.
And it's a false start by Washington State.
74.
That's Robert Valencia, the left guard. And a bad break. There was clear movement, but a really, really late call.
Credit the noise and the energy of this Utah Stadium. It's fun. They're popping, and it's awesome. The crowd is into this game, man.
It certainly is. Harris will check out for Dion McIntosh. 2-back set, 2-by-1 with Fisher alone on the outside.
Everybody's jumping, pounding on their seats.
Here's the snap. Gordon in the pocket. He's got time. He's going down the right side. Winston! Lots of contact, incomplete. Out the back of the end zone. He couldn't haul it in. And it'll be fourth down for Washington State.
You know, as much as I love Aesop, that's just really great coverage by Utah. It's a tough catch. The defender's in the right position, and nobody really was that open for Washington State.
Rain is dumping here in Salt Lake City.
So the question is, it's 4th and 10. You're on your own, what is that, the 33?
33 of Utah.
You're probably not in field goal range. You got to go for it, right?
You have to go for it here.
What I wonder is if we see a quick kick by the quarterback, catches it and just doing a really quick punt, trying to pin him inside the 20.
It's a possibility.
I doubt we'll see that, actually, but I'd love to see it if it happens.
The question is it worth it? As we're going to get a timeout by Washington State. The question would be, is it worth the 20 yards of field position exchange?
Probably not.
For not a chance for your offense, who leads the country in yards, to attempt a play to get a first down and keep the drive going.
So, yeah, I think they're going to go for it. And what I'm so excited to see is what does Mike Leach dial up here on 4th and 10? Can he generate 10 yards with a play call?
As soon as I can figure out how technology works, we have a sideline report from Brian Chapman. Brian, what do you have? Sweet. Brian Chapman on the sideline. What do you have for us? Brian, if you can hear us, what do you have for us down on the sideline?
All right. Poor man Brian. I don't know if he's trying to talk or if I don't know what's going on, but I would have loved to hear what he had to say.
And he's calling back. We'll give him another shot. Hold on just one moment. As I might have accidentally hung up on Brian.
No, Brian!
No. I apologize.
Wait, tell him to call back. I want to hear it. I want to hear what he has to say. I think we got time.
And he is calling back. Technical difficulties to the max, and it drops again. Well, I don't know what's going on here, technology.
It's the mountains.
We'll blame it on the rain. It's dumping out there. As we're in this ball game, 4th down and 10 from the Utah 33, with a minute to go until we get going again. And what could be a really big play in this game for both teams.
Carlos Rodriguez sent me a message on Instagram. I guess he's listening. Carlos, thank you so much for the kind message. I appreciate the support. Glad you're listening. And this is so much fun, man.
This is great.
I don't know why in the world I was nervous. This is awesome.
It's always nerve-wracking before the first game. But, hey, you're doing great.
Oh, of course. I know that. I'm kidding. No, man, this is a blast. I love football. There's nothing better. A big venue like this, a great crowd. Just awesome, man.
And we're glad to have you. And it's 4th down and 10 coming up here in just under 30 seconds.
So we didn't get a hold of Brian. No,
we couldn't get a hold of him. The call kept dropping. Don't blame it on the rain No, that was my eyes playing tricks on me. The rain is coming down just as hard. Utah is covered in trash bags and ponchos.
Isn't that weird how
possible.
The farther you're away, you just can't see the rain unless you really get down and look through the crowd?
Yeah, the other option is you find a light somewhere. And if you look at the light, you can see the rain coming down.
It's like baseball games when they show that view of the light and the rain coming down really, really hard. Here we go.
Cougs are going to go for it. Anthony Gordon with Max Borg in the backfield. 2-by-2 sets. Patman in the ball game on the near sideline.
4th and 10. I'm so excited to see what happens.
Massive play in this game. Rice-Eccles Stadium on their feet.
2 deep safeties.
Here's the snap. Pressure shown. Gordon with time. He rolls to his left. He's got room. He's going to throw it. Flag down in the secondary. Incomplete, intended for Travell Harris. We'll wait for the flag.
Oh, so unfortunate. He had a receiver fall over and slip. I think he would have been open. He was trying to get across the middle, and he fell over on his route.
And perhaps
maybe contact.
They'll get another chance. We'll wait for the call.
Wouldn't be shocking if there was early contact. Might be pass interference.
Or at a minimum, a defensive holding, and it is a penalty on the defense. We get an early signal from the back judge.
I'll tell you what, though, we were rewarded. I liked Mike Leach's play call. It's sad the receiver fell, couldn't execute it, but it was a good call by Mike Leach.
And it is holding on the defense. That'll move the Cougs up 5 yards and give them an automatic first down.
So what Mike Leach was trying to do there is he had 2 receivers kind of near each other, and they were going to have one run across the middle, another one I think carry vertically. And because the receiver fell, they weren't able to execute it. But I was juiced. I was ready for that, and sad it didn't work out. But, hey, nonetheless, Washington State gets another chance.
Washington State gets first down out of it, as you mentioned.
And by the way, I don't have a favorite team here. I just love watching offenses execute. It gets me fired up.
Of course, we claim to be unbiased, despite the fact that we are KUGR Cougar College Radio. But we do our best, you know.
Come on. I don't care.
That is Travell Harris in motion to the right side. It'll be 2-by-2 at the snap. Gordon throws. It's to Max Borgi. He makes a man miss up the right sideline again to 7. Max Borgi showing off his speed, getting to the edge and picking up 7. They're going to give him more than that now. It'll be a gain of almost 9.
Borgi is so great after the catch. He's one of the best running backs in college football, catching the ball and doing stuff downfield. Some people even compare him to Christian McCaffrey, the Panthers running back.
Might be slightly blasphemous to compare him to Christian McCaffrey, but he has the same style, same skill set.
Type of style.
It's like when people compared Luke Falk to Tom Brady. It wasn't the skill, it was this play set. That's offsides, free play into the end zone, incomplete. And the Cougs
unfortunately, they couldn't get a better throw to the end zone there on a botched play by Utah coming across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the whole defensive line offsides on that play. It was 2nd down and a long one. It'll be a first down and goal for Washington State as they'll be just across the 10-yard line. And an opportunity to take the lead for the first time this evening. And a big, massive play or end of the series coming up for the Cougs.
How cool was that moment with Carlos? That stuff is awesome, man.
And if you are in the stadium, feel free to drop by and say hello. We'll be around at halftime, and you all know how to get a hold of Zach. Fake handoff to Borgi on a 2-back set. Heavy pressure. Gordon goes down. And it'll be a gain of none. He's tackled right at the first down.
He got right back to line of scrimmage. That's reducing a negative play, and live to see another play, another down. I'm okay with that. I'm stumbling over my words, but you know what I got at halftime, by the way? I'm meeting everybody down. There's a sign, number 12 gate. I'm going to go meet a bunch of people, a bunch of my fans. Should be fun. I hope they're there. A lot of people message me, they want to see me, and if anybody, I doubt those people in the stadium are listening to this broadcast, but I will be at gate number 12 at halftime. Maybe after the game, too. I want to go meet some people.
Just make sure you get back here in time for the second half.
Of course. I'm just trying to get a picture with my dudes.
I get you. Trips to the right side. Second down and goal from the 9-yard line. Man in motion is Harris to the left. Timeout signaled, and they're going to give it to Mike Leach. He saw something he didn't like, sprinting out onto the field, and a timeout issued.
The fastest I've ever seen Mike Leach run in my life. As he runs, he kind of hobbles out onto the field. I love it, man.
Cougs have one timeout remaining, 14-10. Washington over Utah. I keep wanting to call him USC. It's Utah.
We were talking about Mike Leach earlier today, and he's one of the, right now Washington State has an HBO camera crew at their practices and following them around this year, and the people I know in the PR team for Washington State are terrified of Mike Leach because he's so interesting when he opens his mouth, and they're so afraid he's going to say something that's going to get them in trouble. But Mike Leach, for fans of football, is everything he does is so entertaining, whether he's talking at press conferences or the way he runs his offense and generates points. Mike Leach is maybe, for a fan of football, one of the most entertaining coaches in all of college football.
He's definitely a talent when it comes to the entertaining industry.
I don't know if it's talent. I mean, yes, it is talent, but what I think he does is avoids answering questions so well. It's the way Bill Belichick does, but instead of not saying anything, he just says everything but what you asked him.
Exactly. We talked about that. Him and Bill Belichick share some traits in how they avoid questions. They just do it in different aspects.
Yes, absolutely.
2-by-2 set on a second down and goal from the 9-yard line. Gordon looking for a touchdown.
Zone
Winston
coverage.
In motion to the left side. Heavy pressure. They'll throw a duck to the right side. Anthony Gordon will. It's incomplete. Getting out of bounds.
The crowd wants intentional grounding because Anthony Gordon was not outside of the pocket. I'm actually not sure why that's not intentional grounding. It looked like he was just maybe enough outside to the right of the tackle box. I'm not sure.
They're going to talk about it, and they're not going to throw a flag.
Hey, so one tell right there. They put a receiver in motion, and if a defender doesn't run across the field with that receiver, it tells us it's zone coverage. If it's man coverage, you got to follow his man all the way across. That's, I think, why they do that, by the way. They send a guy in motion to identify the coverage a little better.
I think you are correct. 14-10 Cougs trail Utah. 4:16 to go in the second quarter. Third down and 9. Here's the play. Gordon throws right side, caught by Fisher. He stiff arms a man, but falls down, loses the ball, but gets back on top of it. It's 4th down and goal from the 7-yard line, and decision time for Mike Leach. He'll likely kick it.
Fantastic tackle by Utah. Everybody was sitting on the goal line. They really dropped back in coverage, and nobody's open downfield. He had to take what the defense gave him, and Utah rallied to the football, making a tackle, limiting Washington State from getting any farther after the catch.
Cougs will settle for a field goal. 3:49 to go in this half and counting for Washington State.
And Washington State's kicker, Blake Mazza, has not missed a kick all year.
So we hope to avoid a broadcaster's jinx from Zach Shomler.
I'm not afraid.
Mazza lines up. This is from 24 yards. This kick looks like it may have been deflected off the line, but it went through anyways.
Broadcaster's jinx. Get out of here.
And the game is a little closer, 14-13, and we're going to try this one more time. Brian Chapman, what do you have for us on the sideline? Hey, Brian Chapman, what do you have for us down on the sideline?
Can they hear me right now?
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in what's going on. I want to hear from Brian. He's so insightful.
Brian, do you have anything for us?
Nothing, man. I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out at halftime maybe if we can fix it.
Yeah. We apologize that we could not get Brian on the line. We'd love to hear the insight from the sideline reporters.
They do give us really good golden nuggets of information, man.
They do indeed.
And by the way, that kick did look like something funky happened.
Yeah.
Whether he stumbled or it looked like it maybe got deflected a bit at the line. I don't know what happened there, but
you survived your jinx by a millimeter right there.
Hey, it went through by quite a lot.
It did.
But it lost trajectory a little bit. It was kind of weird.
I'll tell you what. I'm with you. Broadcasters jinx probably aren't a thing.
I'm not superstitious. I'm not even a little stitious. I'm not stitious at all.
But when things go weird after you said something like that, it's always a weird feeling.
I hate how irrational fans get mad at broadcasters for that. It's like,
Jack Crane boots it away, and we will once again not see a return off a kickoff. Will we see one today is the question.
narrative of the game. Who cares about the score? Will we get a kickoff return? That's what I'm here for.
Yes. Yes, indeed. We are all here for that as we'll see a 4-minute drill by Utah. 3:31 to play in the quarter. And in this first half, Utah leads 14-13, but the Cougs off their first stop of the ball game, stopping a 4th and 1 at the 40-yard line of Utah and able to give their offense a short field. They got a field goal out of it.
You know what's cool about Utah fans? Nobody's leaving to go get food at halftime. Everyone's staying in their seats waiting until this drive concludes. I really respect that from these fans here. It's raining on them. I don't blame them for wanting to go in the tunnel, maybe get some food, watch a TV inside. Nobody's doing that.
Here's the snap. Tyler Huntley pressured, and he's going to go down. A big-time sack there. That's 98, Dallas Hobbs. And Utah behind the chains for the first time tonight.
Great job getting his hands on and completing the tackle, pulling him all the way to the ground.
As we have an update from our sideline reporter through a text message this time, Samson Nakua had his left ankle taped during the last offensive possession and was testing his ankle. It looks like he was dealing with some tenderness on that left ankle. Which is really big for this Utah offense. We'll see if we see Samson Nakua out on the field as he scored one of Utah's 2 touchdowns. 2nd and 16, snap to Huntley. He'll throw it to his back. And the reception is made, but stacked up at the 23-yard line. He won't get all the yardage back. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
And Samson Nakua is more of a, a possession receiver, meaning he's not great after the catch. He'll catch the ball and usually get tackled, won't run for a lot of yards. He's not an elite athlete the way Simpkins is. But he's really good at catching the ball when it's thrown to him. He's what they call a possession receiver. Catches the ball, usually gets tackled, but makes good catches downfield.
Number of substitutions. Will Rogers out of the game, now back into the game. As
it's number 44. Who came off that time?
Apparently I do not have him on our depth chart. I apologize. Apologies for that. So why we pick up a full roster before the game. 4 wide, Tyler Huntley in the shotgun on 3rd and 12. Here's the snap to Huntley. Huntley looking, pressured. He'll throw one to an open man. He's got it at the 35. Solomon Innes hauls it down the left sideline. First down for Washington, for Utah.
Once again, Tyler Huntley making plays with his arm. I've been very critical of him. In my notes I said, Tyler Huntley's more of a running quarterback. I don't think he can win with just his arm if he can't run around, and he's just proving me to be wrong. He's really doing a great job.
After a massive sack by Washington State, Utah able to pick up the first down and get into scoring position. 1:50 to go and the snap taken. Fake handoff, throw to the right side, or left side rather, and the tackle made immediately by Tyrese Ross and others.
Great rally to the ball. They were playing cover 4 that time, so he had to run 10 yards down to make that tackle. He sprinted down and did a great job.
Utah playing hurry up and now trying to take some time. 1:30 to go and counting here in the second quarter, and this is a massive drive for the Cougars defense as Utah will maintain possession will gain possession again after halftime. Trips to the right side. Huntley in the backfield with one back in the shotgun. Here's the snap. Huntley looking to the right. Here's the throw. Another open man, but he overthrows him. Solomon Innes on the out route was open, and it's a 3rd down and about 7 yards to play on the 33-yard line of Washington State.
So 2 points here. First of all, number 44 is in fact Tristan Brock. He's a rush for Washington State. That time, a regular concern we've seen from Tyler Huntley is that his anticipation is not very good. Again, he throws to guys after they've already gotten open. He'll never throw the ball before guys out of his break and throw them open. A guy was open that time. He was late to find it and late to throw the ball, and that's why he didn't throw a complete pass. 1:09
to play here in this first half. Cougs trail 14-13 to the Utah Utes. Trips to the right side, 5 wide for Utah for the first time this evening. Here's the snap. Cougars rush 3, drop 8. Quick swing pass out to the running back, who's tripped up. He will not get the first down.
Big time 4th and 1 coming up. I cannot wait to see what happens.
And a timeout called by Utah with 1:02 to play here in the second quarter.
Hey, so back to that point of anticipation. What that means is if there's a defender waiting for a tight end running upfield, running a seam route, which is a vertical up the middle, Tyler Huntley waits till that tight end is all the way past the linebacker to throw the ball. He's wide open. What a lot of quarterbacks do and what great anticipation would mean and would lead to is that when the tight end is parallel to the linebacker and linebacker's feet are flat and can't back up to make a play, he'll throw the ball as they're parallel and throw behind the linebacker, leading him into that window rather than waiting until he's already in that window, then releasing the ball.
We're going to try this again. Brandon Chapman this time.
Oh, please work.
As we have Brandon Chapman on the sideline. Brandon, what do you have?
Well, we're getting a slight reprieve right now from the rain. It's lightened up just a little bit on the field. But I got to tell you, the field is wet, and it is wreaking havoc on the Cougars' ability to make hard cuts. We saw that in the last drive. And right now, we talked about taking care of the football. Not only is it imperative that they are able to make those hard cuts, but they got to hang on to the ball. It's wet. It's still wet down here. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Brandon. 4th down and 1. They're going forward on the Cougars' 27-yard line. Here's the snap. Huntley steps back, looking, and he's hit. And he loses the football, picked up by a Ute.
Oh,
and
my
he somehow
gosh.
gets the first down. Unbelievable play by Utah. Bit of luck, but they'll take it.
So Tyler Huntley's getting dragged to the ground. He somehow stays up a little bit longer, gets rid of the ball, throws to a running back. The running back falls forward, runs into a man, and then continues to spin and kind of pump his legs and fall forward for barely a first down.
The Wazoo defense wonders why they can't catch a break in this ball game. Snap to Huntley. He looks to the right. Pressured. He'll throw it to his running back who drops the ball. 2nd down.
He heard
And
footsteps,
10
and he
coming
heard a guy coming to hit him. Hey, by the way, was it Brandon that gave us that
Yes.
update? What a really insightful piece of information. The rain is gone. It's not really raining much right now. But if the field's full of water and really wet, that would, in fact, make it really hard to cut and make a lot of. So what that does is actually an advantage to man coverage. Is it's hard to run across the field and make little breaks like that.
Brock back in the game. Number 44, the unknown player that we had to look up there. Rush linebacker. Trips to the near side.
Tristan
2nd and 10.
Brock.
42 seconds to go. Huntley looks. He's pressured. He steps up in the pocket. Slings one up the middle. Dropped by his receiver. Dropped by Samson Nakua, who is still in the ballgame with that left ankle injury.
And I praised him. I said, as a possession receiver, got good hands, and he let me down that time. That's 2 drops in consecutive plays by Utah.
3rd down and 10 coming up for Utah. Wholesale changes in the front 7 for Washington State.
I got like 11 messages from people on Instagram that want to come find me at halftime.
That's fantastic.
glad
We
there's no
love the
weapons here.
listeners. 2-by-2 set. Huntley takes the snap, looking over the middle. He'll throw the right side. Incomplete. And a flag comes in. Pass interference on the defense. Marcus Strong, That is George Hicks III. Can't believe it. And
man. Would have been a
bad
great
break
stop,
for the
too. It looks
Cougs.
like it's not going to be.
They'll talk it out. And it is pass interference on the defense. 10-yard penalty coming up for Washington State.
Whole new set of downs, man.
We have a iMessage update from Brian Chapman. Apparently, Nakua really favoring that ankle after making that catch. He exited the ball game. We'll keep an eye on that as this game progresses.
Do you like cold coffee? The coffee's cold. I still like it. I feel weird about how much I enjoy that, but
no,
it's quite good.
Coffee's good at any point. I can't have the caffeine anymore, but it is what it is. Trips to the right side. 29 seconds to play here in the first half. At the 15-yard line for Utah. Pressure. Huntley rolls up. He'll step up. He'll take off and run. He's hit. He dives. It's a touchdown for Utah. They'll take a 7-point lead pending the extra points.
What a great play by Tyler Huntley. Stepping up. Medic, defender about the 4-yard line. Fell forward, made a play. Touchdown, Utah. I love seeing that. I'm happy for the guy. He's having a great game tonight.
Tyler Huntley having quite a nice night. 14-21 for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's also run 4 times for 32 yards and a score on the ground. He's accounted for all 3 of Utah's touchdowns, and the Cougs trail by 7, pending an extra point to put Utah up an even 8.
And Tyler Huntley hasn't run a lot tonight, but every time he's run, it's had a big impact on this game.
Jaden Redding puts this extra point in the air, and it's up and good. 21-13 Utah, but there's a flag down. We'll wait for the penalty marker.
So here's a question, right? Washington State's down 8 points. If they get a touchdown on their next drive, or whenever they score next, do you go for a 2-point conversion to tie it up?
It's an interesting call. That's an interesting question. And
how early do you do it? Do you wait till the 4th quarter to make that call? Do you do it early in the 3rd quarter? But then you risk being down by more than just.
You risk being down 2 scores instead of 1 if Utah answers and scores a touchdown.
So that's an interesting narrative upcoming for Washington State. Will they in fact go for a 2-point conversion? And who knows? Maybe they kick a field goal next. We never have to deal with it, but. I'm curious to see what Washington does when that moment does arise.
The bigger question, 1 timeout, 22 seconds to play here. Do you do anything? Do you try something?
Well, first they got to return it. Well, I think they're going to squib the kick here. That's what Here's the question. Utah's been kicking it out of the back end and into the end zone all game. Do they try to get a return to run some seconds off the clock? Or?
I think it depends on if you think Mike Leach is going to try something.
I'd kick it out of the back of the end zone.
I do too. You're not going to go. It's hard to go 75 yards in 22 seconds.
Yeah. Does Washington State even try anything?
It's a good question.
Maybe they try one shot play to get a chunk of yards. If they don't, they just kneel it next.
Yeah, it's quite possible. But with the leg of Blake Mazza, you don't need to get a ton.
I think his
to attempt a
range
field
is
goal.
about the 30-yard line is where they need to get to Utah's 30-yard line to have a chance at a field goal.
He's comfortable from there. He's hit from 55 in pregame.
Remember, they went for it on
kick.
4th and 10.
We will get a return
Let's
from
go!
Harris. He's going up the left side. He's slung down, breaks a tackle. He's heading to the right side. He's got blockers. And he'll break a tackle down at the 25-yard line, and the world's longest touchback. With 11 seconds to play in the quarter, the Cougs will likely take a knee on this half.
You know, as excited as I was for a kick return, that really, it just ran a lot of time off the clock. He just wasted a bunch of time.
It was pretty anticlimactic. It looks like he might have had an opportunity down the right side.
He had a moment where he might have been sprung and didn't work out. So they are running. They have 4 wide receivers out there for Washington State. Looks like they might try to run a play. I don't know.
3-by-1, Bordy in the backfield.
They're probably going to run it. That's what I would do.
Empty box.
No, they
Gordon
throw.
steps back. He's looking over the middle. It's incomplete. And a dangerous pass there to Tay Martin. Incomplete. 6 seconds to play in the half.
That goes back to the physicality. You got a guy on your back. Can you box him out and get that football? And he hasn't.
6 seconds to play. Cougs likely will now take a knee on the half. Unless they want to try one of those famous 75-yard Hail Marys.
I thought you were going to say field goal. I was like, what? This doesn't work in Madden.
What would it be? It would be.
I was like, where's he going with this?
85. It would be a 92-yard field goal attempt from this spot.
You know, if there was wind in here, he might be able to push it to the end zone. I don't think he's capable.
When we were tossing the football around in the street this morning, we could have hit he could have thrown a 90-yard Hail Mary from there.
That wind was making my arm look incredibly strong. The wind caught it and carried it another 20 yards.
You were overthrowing Brian Chapman all morning. It was a sight to be seen.
Not all,
boy. I'll give you the wind.
wind.
Trip near side. One receiver to the far side is Tay Martin. Gordon in the backfield, or in the shotgun with Max Borghi. He'll do a tipped ball and Chapman there to cover it up. A dangerous pass. 2 seconds to go and 3rd down. Mike Leach almost certainly will take a knee on this half.
For goodness sake, just take a knee and get out of here. A couple of dangerous plays in a row. I feel very uncomfortable with what's happened.
2 plays that could have given Utah points.
I know. A throw behind a receiver that got tipped in the air, and then a screen pass that time tipped in the air. Oh, boy.
That was the ultimate nightmare.
And it looks like they're going to run another normal play.
Trips to the far side.
Oh, man.
If you're a Coug fan, you're praying for a draw.
Hey, look at that. The bottom of the screen, we have really good coverage.
And they will hand it off to Borghi up the right side. And he'll be tackled after a 5-yard gain. And that is the end of the first half. 21-13 Utah over Washington State. An incredible game so far.
What a fun first. This is what I live for, man. I love good football, and it's been really great so far. To me, hey, the thing that Washington State's not doing well is they're not physical with receivers, and they're not executing the little things. That comes back to when the guy's on your back and the ball's in your breadbasket, which is in your hands, you got to catch it. And Anthony Gordon missed a couple throws behind receivers. It's the little things. You know, Washington State's breaking down in coverage, leaving guys wide open for Utah. The little things tonight are killing Washington State. They're in this game. If they can clean it up at halftime, they have a chance to come out with a victory.
Cougs looking to clean up some of the little things to get this offense really cranking. Utah looking to keep doing what they're doing. But for now, we're going to send it back to the studio with Jack. Zach has one more thing to say.
Before we go, man, you got to credit to Utah. They're doing a great job executing, hitting guys that are open and running the ball, running physically, falling for extra yards. They've done a great job in their coverage tonight. You know, we talked about this last week, how USC won a couple of those tight matches where Utah was in the right position and Utah beat them to the ball. Tonight, USC beat them to the ball. Tonight, Utah's had great coverage. Nobody's wide open downfield. Every throw has been a tight window for Anthony Gordon. And you really got to credit, I'm sure after the USC game last week, Utah's coaches all week said, hey, we got to play better. We're in the right spot. We got to make plays on the ball. And tonight, that is what they're doing. I think back to that play in the end zone where the guy tipped it away from Aesop Winston Jr. Multiple plays tonight. Utah's been in the right spot, and their defense is playing really fantastic and executing well.
Cougs having to settle for field goals, and something this offense has not done a ton of, settle for field goals, as they are trailing Utah by 8, 21-13
And
at
by
halftime.
the way, thanks for letting me go on a long tangent about my thoughts of the game. That was really fun for me, but I know I talked for 1,000,000 miles an hour and really long, so thank you so much.
Great to hear your insight in this fantastic football game here in the Pac-12. And we're going to take a quick break for halftime. We'll be back a couple minutes before the second half kick. We're going to send it back to Jack Christensen in the studio. Jack, take it away. Thank you, gentlemen. As we're back for the second half.
We are.
Zach, got to ask, how were your fans? Did you get a showing?
We had 4 of them. It was awesome,
That's
man.
fantastic, man.
I got to say, I'm out of breath. I had to run to the little broadcaster's room. And what a trek weaving through people. People were very nice, though. A lot of Utah fans there, very, very friendly people, I've found. Very awesome.
Yeah, great fans. I've noticed the same thing, but
I just still can't breathe running up those stairs.
The stadium is a bit of a maze when people are running around, you know. But we cannot mention it enough. A beautiful atmosphere, beautiful environment here in Utah, and a beautiful stadium. Frankly, it's imagine Martin Stadium scaled up by a factor of 2, and you're pretty close to this stadium.
I met 2 guys that were from both sophomores, both fans of Strong Opinion Sports that really loved. One was a Patriots fan who had fun talking about Tom Brady. The other one was a Vikings fan. We had misery talk about Kirk Cousins and the misery that is that quarterback.
I like it. Well, it's always great to hear from listeners and to hear from fans. So congratulations to getting to listen to some of your people.
I've never met any. I mean, I meet people randomly, but I've never gone sought out meeting fans, and that's awesome. It just to meet people who love what you do is so cool.
And we're grateful that. We continue to say it, but we mean it with all of our hearts. We're thanking you as an organization that you got to come out and call this game with us.
This is amazing. I want to do more. Like tonight, all this has done for me is made me go, okay, if I could ever do this on top of the podcast, in a heartbeat, I'd come do broadcast games because this is just so much fun.
Yeah, we'll have to talk after this and start sending our tape out. You know, the XFL.
We record this, right? I can send this out to people.
It's all right there.
Oh, let's go!
I missed our pregame, unfortunately, but we have an archive, and I think I can go back and get it. So I can get everything.
Wonderful.
But yeah, we should talk after this game. I hear the XFL might need some broadcasters still.
Oh, hey, the XFL Seattle. I will drive up every weekend.
All right,
that'd be so much fun.
Let's work that out. I'll just graduate. It'll be perfect. Because I'm from an hour north of Seattle.
Oh my gosh!
Not saying anything's happened yet. We haven't even talked to him yet.
But we're scheming on the side.
But we're scheming, all right? We're gonna try to get it because, man, could you imagine doing this every Sunday?
Oh my God! Drive up to Seattle, do that.
Oh man, it'd be incredible.
What a weekend that would be.
Take a couple plane trips every other week to some other part of the.
Dude, I'll be honest. Don't ever tell me this. They probably will hear this. They don't have to pay me. I'll just come for free and have fun with it. I'd love to be compensated. Please.
We'll cut that part out of the tape we send.
I don't care. I will do whatever it takes to get on the side, get in the booth.
Oh man.
If I have to undercut everybody, I will. I want to be in the booth calling games for the XFL. That gives me hope, and I'm excited.
Could you imagine calling 5 games a year in CenturyLink Field?
Dude,
how incredible would that be?
I don't care. I'm going to now speak that into existence. I'm going to start doing it on the video, on the podcast. Hey, XFL, I'm out here.
Yeah,
here's my tape. I'd love to do it.
We'll start a campaign. Put Shawn and Zach in the XFL.
Hey, Oliver Luck, hit me up.
We should. We're gonna scheme this into existence.
I believe in us.
Believe. You gotta believe. But let's get back to the game in action.
Oh, what? There's a football game going on?
It's
not like it's a great game that's awesome.
There's allegedly a game going on. Utah over Washington State. We should mention number 19 Utah. I neglected to say their rating all night.
What the heck, man? Give them the credit it's due.
That's bad on me. 19th in the country. We're top 10 until they lost to USC last week.
They were favorites to win the Pac-12, and now that's very much in question after losing to USC last week.
And if Utah loses this game, there's not really. I mean, I'm not going to say there's no path, but the path narrows significantly for Utah.
Yeah, from what is it? What is that? 9-2. What's that? 9-2 if they finish with that? Or no, 10-2.
Yeah.
They finished 10-2. Yeah, there's no chance to get into the Pac-12 championship. I would think, right?
Well, with 2 conference losses, it would be tough, especially with a head-to-head loss against USC. You would need USC to lose 2 more games than you the rest of the way.
Hey, how many tough teams are really in the South, though? I mean, Arizona State's probably a 4-loss team. They're solid.
Utah still has to play Washington.
Yep.
And they still have to play Cal.
Oh, boy.
So 2 tough north teams. And
they could end up with far more than 2 losses.
They could, yes. So Washington State also needs this win, but they play all their Pac-12 North teams still, so it's still a chance regardless of the result here. 21-13 Utah. In the last 15 seconds before the kickoff, what are the keys to the second half?
Washington State has to be physical with their receivers, and they have to execute on offense. They're just making too many mistakes. Because of the great defense Utah is playing, they got a lot of throws into tight windows they need to execute, and so far they have not done a good job of that.
I'm 100% on board with everything you just said. Jack Crane, left-footed boot.
Fair enough.
Into the end zone. Fair enough. Yes, as you mentioned, man. Apparently that's my thing. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's your nervous tick as you say fair enough to fill words and space.
Whenever there's something that I agree with, but I don't really have anything down, I'm like, fair enough. We're driving down
that's fair enough.
Yeah, we're driving down with our sideline reporter Brandon Chapman, and
he's going to yell at us for screwing around.
He is going to yell at us for screwing around. But you know what? We had an epic first half. I'm just going to say it right now. I felt that was pretty smooth. I feel like we did pretty good and enough. And you know what? Let's stop breaking the fourth wall and let's get back into this game. Utah coming out on offense with a chance to go up.
Really tight formation. Nobody really wide.
By multiple possessions.
They do shift, but they shifted 2 tight ends to the right.
8-point lead for Utah. No time has elapsed in this third quarter. Handoff Huntley gives it to his back, who's got a ton of room. He bowls over a pair of defenders down at the 37-yard line. That's Devin Bromfield.
Man, he is, again, I've talked about the depth of the running back crew at Utah. They have so many guys. They're all big. They run people over. They get yards after the contact. Man, I'm so impressed with what they've done so far.
Great run for Utah, 12 yards.
And a giant hole. Do you see how big that hole was for the running back?
Hole.
And it was elevated because they ran a fly sweep motion. So they had a receiver come across behind Tyler Huntley. He faked to him and then handed it off. That pulls linebackers out of the box a little bit, makes them wide and allowing for a bigger hole up the middle.
As we mentioned, Utah loves their fly sweeps. 2-by-2 set with Bromfield in the backfield, shotgun formation. They'll fake the handoff. Huntley will take it himself. He slips and goes down.
That is Shelley. So every once in a while they pull Huntley out. They brought in Shelley for that play. And Shelley's kind of he's almost like a wildcat quarterback for Utah. Interesting. I wish they would throw it with him just once because now repeatedly we've seen him come into the game and they've run the ball. He's kind of a wildcat quarterback. If they can pull Shelley in and then do some play action stuff behind line of scrimmage, throw the ball vertically, then that would be a great play call by Utah against this Washington State defense.
Shelley was stopped for no gain. It's 2nd down and 10. Huntley back in the game. Trips to the right side with a tight end on the left, and that's a false start by the left tackle.
Oh, boy.
Darian Paulo was ahead of the snap count there, and that'll back up Utah. 2nd down and 15, and the Cougs need a stop here. They have Utah behind the chains. They need to capitalize.
You got to wonder what happened there because it's not like there's any noise in the stadium. Utah is at home. There's literally nobody's talking, nobody's cheering, trying to get in the head of the offensive lineman. It looked like he just got nervous or something happened, and for whatever reason he jumped off sides.
And it wasn't even a flinch. That was a full step.
Yes.
Like he stepped back
it's like
in
he didn't know the snap count or something.
Yeah.
It looked something went wrong and something went awry, and he was not in sync with everybody else.
Regardless of the cause, it's 2nd and 15 from the 32-yard line of Utah. Snap taken by Huntley. He'll give it to his running back, who has room to run, but is tackled by Stone Jr.
Is that Simpkins?
That is, I believe, that may have been Simpkins.
Yes,
it is Simpkins, indeed. He'll take the carry.
He's an explosive player, man. He's kind of not necessarily a receiver. He's more of an athlete. He just does great job with the ball in space.
The 4-yard gain. They'll bring in Alio Patiape, the hardest name to say in this whole roster, and Pat Nunn adding another nickel to this defense. 3rd and 11. Cougs need a stop here, down by 8 points. Big chance for the Washington State defense.
Man coverage on the right side. A little bit of safety help.
3-by-1. Huntley takes the snap. He looks, throw over the middle, and it's caught just past the 15-yard line. A great reception as I am trying to see the number of the receiver. Regardless, an excellent catch. That's Brian Thompson.
He gave Brian Thompson, the defender there, gave Brian Thompson way too easy of a release. They looked like they disguised man coverage. He backed off late and gave him completely an opening to go into the middle of the field. And I don't know. You got to give a little more contact, a little bit of make it more difficult for the receiver to get over the middle there.
Cougs had an opportunity there to get the ball back to their offense, down only 8. Utah with 12:24 to go in the third are driving with a chance to put it up, put the lead to multiple scores. Fake the handoff. Huntley steps back, looking deep. Rainbows a pass on the out route. He's got his man just shy of the 30-yard line, throws him out of bounds. And that is Samson Nakua with the injured ankle. He gives a little show to the fans, and it's a first down inside the 35, down to the 32 for Utah.
Really good throw by Huntley there. He beat his man outside. Not a perfect throw, but a bad break by number 3, the safety there, and a great job executing by Tyler Huntley. He's done that all day, man. If you leave a guy open, he's executed quite well.
Huntley has taken advantage of his opportunity, 16-23 for 274 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's accounted for all 3 scores by Utah. 2-by-1 man in motion, bunches the receivers on the right side. He'll hand it off, big hole, gains another first down. That's a carry of 13 by Devontae Henry Collins, another first down for Utah.
Everything they've done on this drive has been massively successful. They clearly made some kind of adjustment at halftime, but they're really executing well this drive.
That's a timeout by Washington State.
They're going to regroup and say, hey, we got to tighten this up.
Yeah, Mike Leach using one of his patented defensive timeouts. Didn't work in UCLA, but has worked in earlier games in the season, notably in the Houston game. Called a timeout late in that second half, able to get a stop before halftime, and only allowed 3 points the remainder of the game until a very late touchdown to narrow the margin.
What I would give to hear what they're saying in that huddle right now, I don't know, it seems like Utah's having their way with them on offense. I don't know what adjustment they're going to make. I'm excited to see it, but whatever they're talking about in that huddle is something quite interesting.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll be able to mic up Mike Leach for one of these broadcasts. Although I'll tell you what, FCC would pull us immediately. I guarantee it's not G-rated down there.
Whoa!
All right, enough on Mike Leach for today. we're in our immediate timeout, and as you mentioned, Utah having their way with the Cougs defense in this second half so far. Very early, still a 21-13 lead. We're at about 11:30 to play here in this third quarter in a timeout. And just having their way with Utah, and as you mentioned, everything has been successful for Utah so far in this drive.
Well, their ability to throw the ball so well has allowed them to run the ball more effectively. As they Washington State's defense has to adjust to stop passing plays, and they're taking guys out of the box, allowing for great holes to be opened up the middle.
Yeah, Washington State needs to get a stop here, at least hold them to a field goal. Down by 8.
Our sideline reporter Brian's joining me next to me. I don't know what. I think he's just here hanging out.
Yeah, Brian's here.
A little bit unnerving.
Brandon's holding the camera over the back here as we continue to break the fourth wall in this broadcast. You gotta love it, you know.
Let's be honest about what's going on.
Yeah,
right? We're here. We're doing it. Why pretend, right?
I think after the conversation we had at the start of the halftime, or at the end of halftime, we're the most candid broadcast on the radio right now.
One of my goals for this was to just be myself and be very honest. And if that's my brand as a broadcaster, just, hey, like, let's not pretend here. This is what we're doing. We're just guys talking about football, enjoying a game, doing what we love.
Fantastic. As our sideline reporters heading back down to the sidelines, or they will momentarily, we appreciate all their hard work and their help getting this broadcast on the air, as hopefully they heard all of what we were just saying there. Cougs looking to get a stop here, force a field goal attempt, and keep this a manageable game. A touchdown here would put the Utes up 15 and really put the offense in a tough spot, as they have not trailed by multiple touchdowns at all this season.
Here's what I would do if I was Utah right now. I would take a shot at the end zone. Washington State's trying to regroup, trying to tighten up. A score right now on first down would be a dagger to the heart. I would love to see that.
Still a ton of time to play. 11:35 to go in the third quarter as we exit the media timeout. Utah still getting some last-minute thoughts in.
In fact, I'm going to call my shot. They're going to run play action, throw the ball to the end zone. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I would do.
Called shot by Mr. Zach Shomler. We'll see what happens. Cougs have some pass rushers in the front 7. Will Rogers
to the left. 2 tight ends in here.
Excuse me. Mostly run defenders on the defensive line, with the exception of Will Rogers. Heavy set. Huntley hands the ball off. He's hit, but spins out of a tackle. Jahad Woods there to clean up. It's a short gain of 1. Devonta Henry Cole on the carry.
Look, that's expected, a run up the middle, 2 yards. I think it's a little safe. I would have taken a shot at the end zone. That's just me. I'm a little bit outside the box thinker, but I'm curious to see what Utah does now on 2nd and long.
21-13 Utah on 2nd down and 9 from the Washington State 18-yard line as we near 11 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Tight end on the right side, Huntley in the shotgun with a back, 2-by-1 receivers on 2nd down and 9. Huntley takes the snap. He'll hand it off. Hit at the line. He'll fall forward for about a yard. That is Devonta Henry Cole again. And 3rd down and long coming up once again for this Washington State defense. And this would be a huge stop for the Cougars.
So whatever went on in that huddle on defense for Washington, we got to clean this up. Enough allowing them to get big gains up the middle. I think he challenged the defensive line saying, you got to hold guys on their blocks. So what happens at the line of scrimmage is you hit a guy. You don't need to drive him back if you're a defender. Just keep him in place so you can make a play on the running back when he comes near you.
Shotgun for Huntley. 2 running backs in the backfield, 2-by-1 set. He takes the snap. He's looking. Pressured. He makes the throw. The catch is made, but he's going to be short of the first down. It'll be 4th and a yard from the 10-yard line in decision time for this
really
Utah
close,
offense.
Man. Great job by Tyler Huntley there. Take on the defense gives him. The receiver fell forward about another 2 yards. 4th and very short here, like 4th and 6 inches maybe. And it looks like they're going for it.
Utah's offense is in the game. Cole Fotheringham and Bryant Keith in the ball game.
That's my favorite name on Utah's football team.
Fotheringham's a pretty good one. Yeah, I'll give you that.
I got something to say in a minute about their huddle, what I love they do at Utah.
Heavy set, offset running back. They'll send a man in motion. 2 backs in the backfield. Hand off to the fullback. He's got a room. And they'll be down to the 3-yard line. First down Utah, and an excellent play called there by the Utah offense.
Well, great execution. What they did is put the running back in motion, which widens linebackers. So Tyler Huntley spins around as if he's going to pitch it to the running back and then hands quickly to the fullback, allowing him to get inside. I love that design because, again, it widens the linebackers, allowing for a bigger hole up the middle.
Changes on the defensive line for the Washington State Cougars. In comes Lamont McDougal, 2 NFL family members in his family as Utah comes out in a heavy set with a single back. They'll send a man in motion. He's tight to the right side. Heavy formation. Utah running the football to the left side. Power move. He's close to the goal line, and he is just short. turning the legs, not quite there. It's going to be 2nd and goal from the half-yard line for Utah, and Cougs are in desperate strait right now, trying to stop a touchdown.
Utah's pushing Washington State around up front. That's got to be pretty discouraging if you're Washington State. You're in the right spot, and you're just getting pushed backwards and driven backwards upon contact with the running back. I want to go back to that 4th and 1, by the way. It's not that the fake to the way that Tyler Huntley opens up, they put the running back in motion out wide. It's not that it makes linebackers go like 6 yards out to the left or the right. It just makes them hesitate just enough that allows the fullback to get up inside in their grill and get a big gain on 4th and 1.
Goal line defense, 2 receivers far side, heavy set, Huntley under center. They send a man in motion, fake the handoff, roll out to the right. There's a penalty flag, and Huntley walks into the end zone for the touchdown.
We'll see this coming back. That's a great job by Huntley, though. I don't know what it looks like that's not going to be a touchdown. Some kind of thing, something happened downfield they don't like.
Flag in the backfield in the area of a potential hold.
The ref waving it off, crossing his arms as if he doesn't think that was a touchdown.
We'll see the call.
And obviously, look, he got into the end zone, but clearly whatever the penalty was.
And it's illegal shifts. 2 or more men in motion at the snap. And they'll back Utah up. It'll be 2nd down from a bit further out, and Utah will have to do it again if they want to go up by multiple scores.
That's got to be painful for Utah because that was a well-designed play, well-executed. Frustrating for Kyle Whittingham's team.
Kyle Whittingham has coached an incredible game so far, leading by 8 points at halftime and going on a clock-killing drive, nearly 7 minutes into this half, and the Cougs have yet to touch the football.
Remind me to talk about Utah huddling. I really like that they do that, and I got a story for you in a minute.
2nd down and goal from just outside the 5-yard line. Heavy set, Huntley under center. He'll fake the jet sweep, fake the handoff, and he'll be taken down at the 13-yard line. Great pursuit by Washington State. 3rd down and a mile on 3rd and goal.
What I don't like there is that's a designed run by Huntley to the outside. He's injured. We know his foot's injured, and that means he's got to beat guys to the outside. There's no receivers running routes there. His only option is to run, and I don't like that, trying to get Huntley to the outside with an injured foot. I think it's a bad play call, and Washington State played it really well, as they should have.
And Utah huddling once again before the play. You mentioned you liked the huddle by Utah.
Yeah, we'll do it at kickoff. I have a story. There's an advantage to huddling that we'll talk about in a minute.
3rd down and goal from just outside the 10-yard line. They must have given him some forward progress on that sack. Cougs need a stop. Late shift on the defensive line. They bring 4. Huntley stands in, throws right side, batted away, incomplete. Excellent play by Pat Nunn, the nickelback, and it's 4th down from just outside the 10-yard line, and out comes the ticking unit.
Man, I know I've harped on it all game. I know I've said this all game. Huntley's inability to anticipate a guy coming open is really costing them. That time the receiver beat his man, but the throw was so late it gave the defender time to catch up and make a break on the ball and knock it away.
Jaden Redding coming out.
These orange soccer cleats by Redding are awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet kicks. This is a 28-yard field goal attempt from the right hash.
He's only missed 1 all year.
1 miss by the kicker all season. This one up, heading towards the uprights, and it splits the pipe. And the Utah Utes lead by 11, 24-13, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter as the Chapman brothers head back to the sideline. Hopeful to hear from them soon in this half. Great drive for Utah, as we mentioned, killing nearly 8 minutes of clock in this 3rd quarter.
Just a demoralizing drive because you lost so much time off the clock. Utah had their way. They were slow. They're like, we're not in any hurry. They converted on 3rd down. They converted on 4th down. If you're Washington State's defense, that's very discouraging because you played things pretty well and they still, I guess my point is, towards the end of the drive, when Utah slowed down, it was in 3rd down and 4th down situations, they still were unable to come up clutch on big play, in big situations. And, Utah, I'm so impressed with what they're doing on offense.
And Utah able to get that right play call and really slow the tempo down, huddling, which is something you don't see a lot in college football.
But before we get into that, they also overcame a sack, a penalty, multiple times. Things didn't go perfectly for Utah, but they were able to overcome that. Here's what I think is so good about huddling, and I think it actually helps them when they're trying to overcome adversity like that. A lot of offensive teams don't huddle, which means you don't have communication as a unit for your offense. The only time you communicate all together as a unit is when a timeout is called, you all get together on the sideline. Now here's what's so special. The most special thing about playing quarterback, playing football in general, is that there's a moment in the huddle when you call a play. That's why I think huddling is very valuable. Some quarterbacks just call the play. They say, sprite gun 42 on 1, whatever the play is, right? A great quarterback, I think, says, hey, sprite gun 42 on 1. Hey, let's go. We got to drive the guys downfield. We got to get the ball, get out. Whatever little insight the quarterback has and encouragement he has, he's able to do that because of huddling. And when you have a play, you get sacked and you're frustrated or something goes wrong, being able to huddle and encourage the guys around you is so valuable in a system like that. Washington State's offense doesn't have that ability to get together as a unit and discuss anything even briefly because they don't huddle, and that's the value of huddling. And let me tell you, when you're a quarterback and you're like, hey guys, can we go on 2? And Wyatt, the center, like, Wyatt, can you go on 2? Can you snap it on 2? And he's like, yeah, Zach, I got this. And that's the most special moment, is when you as a unit can communicate with each other. And why I think Utah huddling there helped them overcome the adversity they ran into, because they were able to talk about it, address it as a unit, and then deal with the problem.
And a great team. Utah is playing as an amazing team in that drive. As we mentioned, taking a ton of time off the clock. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this third quarter. Cougs haven't touched the ball in nearly 40 minutes of real time. And Anthony Gordon,
what are we going to
down
see?
11 points, and he needs to put a drive together here. Cougs offense had a bunch of time to talk amongst themselves in halftime and in that drive.
And he's got to tighten up.
Yeah.
I'm sure Leach was kind of harsh at halftime, like, dude, you're hitting the wrong shoulder. There are little things you got to do better. And the receivers, they got to be more physical on this game, in this second half. When there's a defender on their back and they're only open by a step, and as you're catching the ball, the defender's hitting your arm and trying to stop the ball away. You got to pull that ball in. That's what I'm sure Mike Leach challenged his team with.
Andrew Strash kicks this one away, and Travell Harris will return from the half-yard line. Heading to the right side now, cuts up the middle. He breaks a tackle, and he's slung down to the 39-yard line. Had a chance, but one man that beats grabbed his ankles. If he beats him, he's got a chance.
How many is that? 2 returns today?
2 returns, both by.
They are fun.
They're fun, right?
Yeah.
They're fun. They're fun
and
to see.
They look like they're going to go for a touchdown every time. They never do.
No, they never do. Almost never.
Sometimes.
Almost never.
But they don't.
I've had the pleasure of calling 2 kick return touchdowns in my 8 football broadcasts.
Was that UCLA last week?
One was at UCLA, and one was Travell Harris taking one to the house against, I believe, Oregon last season.
Oh, the ESPN game, the college game day.
And it was,
man,
that was an incredible scene to watch. As
hey,
Fox Sports is milking their TV timeouts. We're in another media timeout.
Hey, don't blame. They're trying to make money.
I'm not blaming Fox Sports. I respect
the
making
hustle.
money. I respect it.
It's
I'm
a
just
business.
saying, hey, we get some more time to talk football, and where else would we rather be right now than
I
in this
got a
box?
story for you, man. I'll admit this. I don't care. It's hey, the time has gone on a long time. Way past time now. I worked for ESPN's College Game Day last year, so I got a media pass. And that media pass did not allow you access into the stadium. So I'd worked other games before in Martin Stadium at Washington State, and I had an old media pass. And so me and a buddy of mine were like, you want to go to the game? Like, you want to go stand? I was like, screw it, why not? So we snuck into the game, stood on the sideline. Well, that giant game with Washington State and Oregon, we had no role, no job. We're just trying to stay out of the way and not get caught doing literally nothing, pretending we're taking notes on our phone. I don't know. But, man, we were on the sideline the whole game. Justin Herbert was right there. That's an experience I will never forget. And, again, those little moments, things like this, things like that. Football is so special, and I love the event atmosphere. I love concerts. I love going to football games. And the crowd, the energy, all of it, the entire experience is so much fun.
And it's amazing. College football is a spectacle unlike any other. I know it's an overused saying, but it's true.
Yeah.
I personally believe it doesn't even, NFL games don't even compare to the atmosphere of a college football game.
Yeah, unless you're in like Seattle or New Orleans or
for a big game.
There's very few I
went to a Monday Night Football game in Green Bay the year they lost to the Seahawks. Yes, I did. The year I turned 16, or the year I turned 16, the year the Packers lost to the Seahawks in the championship game. I went to the Monday Night Football game against the Atlanta Falcons. Incredible atmosphere. Green Bay is like the place for pro football. It still doesn't compare to some of these Pac-12 college football games with a lot on the line, and these stadiums get crazy. And I think it's that these fans have a legitimate claim to being associated with their team.
Yeah, I made a quality of life decision a couple months ago. I got a sponsorship, made a little bit. I'm not, like, I barely survived making money, but I had a little bit of money from a sponsorship, and I bought tickets to the Bengals-Patriots in Cincinnati later this year because I want to see Tom Brady live before he retires. Going with my dad, I'm so excited for that. Let's get back into this game. Anthony Gordon on offense. I think they're going to shift. They have 4 guys in the backfield. No way they actually run a play like this.
And they almost never do. They a lot of times will bunch like this to see what the defensive backs do.
It's a misdirection.
And as everyone spreads out, you may see
3 to the right, 1 to the
almost
left.
Man coverage here. Bunch to formation to the right side. Anthony Gordon pressured. Penalty flag, and that was a pre-snap penalty. They're blowing that dead.
I think it's on the defense. It looked like he jumped early.
That's a false start on the offense. First down and 15 for Washington State, and offense going backwards.
Is that number 63?
I believe it was number 63.
My man, I love him. I'm rooting for him.
Liam Ryan will be a left tackle in the NFL someday. But,
I think so.
But he needs to figure out these penalties. That is his 4th false start in the last 2 games.
I wonder if it's like a nerves thing where, like, the more it happens, the more worried about it happening again you get.
It's quite possible. Washington State from their own 24-yard line, 1st and 15. Anthony Gordon, shovel pass to Borgie. Who gets killed? Absolutely denied. Francis Bernard tackled for a loss. What a play.
A regular, consistent thing for Mike Leach is throwing shovel passes. That time, Anthony Gordon threw a shovel pass, and the linebacker came flying downhill and laid a smack down on the running back for Washington State. Oh my gosh.
Officially goes down as no gain, but Max Borgie's going to feel that one in the morning.
He's got so much adrenaline, he won't feel that right now, but I'm sure you're dang right. In the morning, you'll look at his ribs and go, oh.
And he subs out 5 wide for the Cougs. Anthony Gordon looking to put a ball over the middle,
no
man
help vertically.
across.
There's nobody helping over the top. They're going to bring, looks like a blitz this time.
Low safety, blitz, backs out, pass over the middle, dangerous pass. Harris drops it.
It's the little things, man. That's an open receiver, and he threw to the wrong shoulder again. He's been so inaccurate over the middle by inches, but you throw to the wrong shoulder on a guy breaking inside, throw behind him a little bit. That's not going to be a completion. Big blitz, you got to do a better job on that.
Gordon's got to figure it out, little things.
I'm so unimpressed with his execution tonight.
And Tay Martin was there on the go route as well. 2-by-2 set, Borgie in the backfield, and perhaps the biggest play of the ball game so far. 6:29 to play in the third quarter. Cougs trail by 11. 2-by-2 sets, Borgie in the backfield, 3rd down and 15. Utah rushes 3. They get pressure. Gordon spins out of it. Looking downfield, he'll throw, and it's intercepted at the 48-yard line of Washington State. A terrible decision by Anthony Gordon, and the Utah takes over in their own plus territory.
It's a young quarterback, down by 11 points, trying to do just a little bit too much. And that time, Utah backed way off, had 3 deep safeties playing man coverage.
And a penalty marker down will hold for the flag.
Celebration.
It's quite possible. They are discussing. They've moved the marker to where the penalty happened.
They're talking to, it looks like they're talking to Washington State. But I think it's, again, a penalty after the play.
It is.
Yeah.
Excessive celebration on Utah, and that is a break for Washington State.
I mean, yes, it does hurt. They're now on the other side of midfield. I kind of like that, though. You get a giant play. Let's enjoy that moment. Let's celebrate a little bit.
I'm with you.
I'm sure Whittingham's mad. As a fan, I'm like, hey, I get it. I'm in college. I make a big interception. Let's celebrate a little bit.
Whittingham is livid right now.
He hates those kind of things.
Well, because instead of starting on Washington State's 48-yard line, you're backed up to your own 37. Yeah. That's a big swing.
Yes, it is. And Whittingham's team is known for their detail and attention to detail. And, man, that's just not what you want to see. But, again, I feel for the player, though. You want to celebrate a big play.
The Washington State Cougars need to stop here. A field goal would keep this a 2-score game. Anything more, it's a 3-possession game. Huntley, pressured. He rolls out, throws a dangerous ball over the middle. Incomplete. Isom with the coverage. He looked upset. Is there a penalty marker that I'm missing?
I don't think so.
I don't
know
see
why
one
he was
either.
so frustrated.
As I'm glad I'm not the only one that saw the frustration there.
I don't know what he made a great play.
Yeah,
why is he mad?
Did he want to pick? I guess it would have been a hard pick to make. You were behind the receiver.
Yeah, like we got to leap, get in. I got to.
Yeah, you got to moss him from the ground. I don't know.
It's impossible. I don't know.
2nd down and 10 from the Utah 37-yard line, with 6:13 to play here in the third quarter. Huntley will hand it off, hit in the backfield, and he is stopped. An excellent play, a loss of 1 on the play.
So ever since that timeout by Washington State, for the most part, they've really limited. The holes have not been wide open for Utah, except for Utah. Yes, they had that 4th and 1. They had a couple short gains, but early in the drive last time, Utah had giant holes in the middle, running for 11 yards. Clearly, something clicked and something that they adjusted to and were challenged up front or something, because they're not allowing giant holes to be opened up at the line of scrimmage anymore.
4.7 yards per rush allowed to Utah in this game. Trips to the right side, single receiver to the near side. Huntley in the shotgun. Huntley steps back, steps up. He's pressured. He trips but stays on his feet. Wide open receiver, and he dropped it. It's incomplete. Wall alone. Solomon drops the ball. He'll never get a ball that perfectly again.
Dude.
And he dropped it. 4th down for Utah.
I feel so badly for Tyler Huntley. What's going on now? Calling a penalty or?
What did I miss?
I don't think the fans even fully understand. There must have been something going on the sideline.
They're looking up at the Jumbotron, and now we're going to get a booth review. They think he caught this football, and we're going to have to duck down to see this camera because I don't see any way he got a foot in bounds.
Yeah, no. Let's find out.
Is there any way?
He might be in bounds. It's hard to tell without a close replay booth, but I do think it might have been. Actually, can we go down to the guys on the field, see what they think? Because they have a better angle than us.
Yeah, let's see.
Brandon, call us. Brandon, Brian, give us a phone call. I want to hear what you have to say. Because it looks like I couldn't tell from the reaction of the crowd whether they thought it was a catch or not. Clearly they thought early, but after the replay, I don't know what they thought. You know, it's interesting. Back to that penalty. Whenever you make a big play, here's what my coach in college once said. He said, celebrate with your teammates. Because if the crowd thinks it's a catch, man, everyone's saying he's down in bounds.
We'll see what the call is. They're still looking at it.
I hope for the sake of the I always kind of side with quarterbacks. He made a great play, extending the play, buying time, finding a guy open.
He did.
For his sake, I hope it's a completion.
The wide receiver made possibly the worst play of his career if he doesn't catch that ball.
No, dude.
It hit him
No
in
one's
the
around
hands.
you.
That's a play that I would mess up. Not a Division I receiver.
Yeah, Shawn does not have the best hands.
I have no hands.
Hey, so back to that though, right? When you make a big play, if you make a big interception, forget the other team. Go find your teammates, celebrate with them. It's rare you get a penalty when you're celebrating with your guys running off the field. When you're talking to the other team is usually when a college ref will throw a flag. No taunting. Again, goes back to it. When you make a big play, celebrate with your guys. Do not throw it into the face of the other team.
As we're about to get the official announcement, the chain started moving and then they stopped moving. Let's get the announcement. And it's a catch.
Wow.
Utah gets the first down. An incredible catch by Solomon Ennis. And Utah picks up a massive first down. And Tracy Clays cannot be happy with that defensive.
Good for Tyler Huntley, man. He deserved that. He earned that completion by extending the play. And a breakdown in coverage. That's what happens when you extend plays is guys lose their positioning and people get wide open.
Pistol for Huntley. Cougs had their opportunity and couldn't capitalize. Huntley sends a man in motion. He'll take the snap, fake the draw, and step back. He's looking over the middle. He moves to his right. Hit as he throws, but he's got a man who's thrown off his feet.
Wow.
And
we're seeing a new trend develop. Another broken play where Huntley extended the play to the right. Defense lost its coverage, and a guy found himself wide open.
Hunter Thedford with his first reception of the ballgame. Kamari Simpkins enters the ballgame. First down for Utah.
Really tight formation here.
Yeah, Huntley under center. They'll move 2 men in motion to the left side. We're going right to left. They'll send another man to the left side, fake the handoff, and they'll give it to the running back who gets a big gain up the middle.
A missed tackle by one of the Washington State linebackers.
Second down and 3 coming up.
They keep doing that. They keep running a fly sweep, which, again, it makes the linebackers kind of hesitate. So when you do run a guy up the middle, their eyes are averted for half a second and might miss a tackle like they just did.
So that was Devonta Henry Cole on the carry.
Second and short. I take a shot. I throw the ball vertically here.
Utah in the shotgun. They'll move Brant Keith to the right side. Another man in motion. Lots of motion for Utah in this second half. Fake the handoff. It's a read option. And Tyler Huntley will pick up just enough for the first down, perhaps.
That's a first down.
And a late flag. That's going to be unnecessary roughness on Utah as a lineman came in to clean up the pile at the end of the play.
Yeah,
15 yards.
So here's my question. Did they get the first down
That's
that was
the
against
massive
Shelley,
call.
right? That's, again, like the fourth time they've brought in Jason Shelley and run the ball with him. So there's a tendency developing. When Jason Shelley comes into the game to play quarterback, they're running the ball with Jason Shelley. They haven't done anything else, any other wrinkle. I want to see them run play action with Jason Shelley, make it look like they're running, and throw the ball vertically. I would love to see that from Utah. I'm surprised they don't.
So it's unnecessary roughness on Utah. We'll see what the down is. That's the important thing.
Yeah, do they give him the first down and then institute the penalty, or?
And I believe he said third down.
Yeah, so they lose the down.
Excuse me. No, he did not say third down. He said first down.
Okay, so first down, they just go back farther. That's not great, right? But it could be far worse.
It could be far worse. And it's an interesting thing because had that happened, it's one of those weird things that it's still first and 10. Sometimes it's first and 25,
yes.
and then things get bad for Utah. But they got first and 10, and this almost helps them burn some more clock. 39-yard line. They'll take the snap. An easy completion over the middle.
Wow.
And the receiver bounces off a tackler, and he'll be back up to the 25-yard line. Terrible tackling by Washington State. Jalen Dixon with the reception, and it moves the chains for Utah.
I do not understand why Washington State is playing so soft, allowing Utah to get completions like that underneath. They gave up 9 needless yards right there.
3:40 and counting to play here in the third quarter. 24-13 rather. Utah leads the Washington State Cougars, and they have a first down and 10 from the 26-yard line of Washington State.
Here's something for the people listening. There's no rain right now at all.
Yeah, it's quite nice, actually. Hundley takes the pass. Big pressure, but he completes the pass. Tackle made by Jahad Woods at the 15-yard line, but it's enough for another first down.
Great job on the screen. The linemen got off their blocks, got downfield. Eventually, the defensive lineman ran it down from behind, but that's a really great job by Utah executing the screen with their offensive linemen.
Another reception by Jalen Dixon, his second of the ball game. Wholesale changes on both teams.
A lot of teams call their backs and receivers skill positions. I actually refer to linemen as skill positions because they deserve the respect and honor that they have because they're so important to any offense. They really showed their worth right there.
Cougs need to stop. First down and 10 from the 15-yard line of Washington State. Utah hands it off. And a big hole opens up the left side, and it's a gain of 8.
Did you remember early,
Bromfield.
Early when I talked about the emotional battle in this game, who can win the emotional fight? Washington State looks a little bit demoralized here. They're getting beat up. They're getting pushed backwards. It's like something inside them is not, arching their back and fighting harder up front. And right now they're getting pushed around by Utah's offense.
Cougs, as we continue to mention, need to stop here if they want a realistic chance in this ball game. 2:20 and counting here in the third quarter. Still a lot of time for both teams. Cougs trail by 11. Second down and 3 from the 8-yard line of Washington State. Jet sweep, they'll fake it to him. Hand off, Bromfield hit immediately, and he is stopped after a gain of about 1. No gain on the play. Third down and 3 coming up, and a big third down for Washington State.
And that was less a great play by Washington State, a more a whiffed block, looked like by Utah up front. One guy missed his assignment, didn't do a great job, got beat off the line. And I don't want to not credit Washington State. It got a good stop there, but I think Utah actually whiffed right there and, screwed up.
Third down and a long 2 yards for Utah. A minute 40 and counting here in the third quarter. Late changes by Washington State. They've got to go, and they get everyone in.
Throw the ball to the end zone.
And a timeout called by Washington State. Mike Leach is furious. Utah substituted, did not give time for Washington State to sub, says Mike Leach, and he's going to go ask the referee what happened. But regardless, the timeout Washington State.
How's that allowed to happen?
Coming up.
That shouldn't be allowed to happen.
That should not have happened. And the referee is going to talk with the captain right now.
Would they give him the timeout back? I don't think that. Does that happen?
If
they agree with him enough, right?
Yeah, there's a chance. A slim chance. But there's always a chance. As we enter another media timeout, Mike Leach is talking with the referee right now. Is Tracy Clays, or one of his assistants more likely, is Tracy Clays is a couple floors above us right now. Discusses with his defense on this massive third down and 2 coming up for Washington State.
What do you do here for Utah? You take a shot at the end zone, really do you do a dagger to the heart, or do you just consistently do what you've been doing and running the ball up front really well?
I think I keep doing what I'm doing. I trust my offense to get 2 yards on the run.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And if you don't, and you get 1.5, you go for on fourth down.
Yeah. Now maybe that's an even better question. On fourth and 6 inches.
Yeah.
Do you go for it and just try to drive into the heart of that offense?
I do, because Washington State's offense did not show us
what do you lose,
City.
right? If you don't get it on fourth down, you just make Washington State have to drive the entire length of the field. So, I guess you can't lose. I would go for it on fourth down if they don't make it here.
I would be stunned if this was not 2-down territory or 4-down territory. Although Kyle Whittingham may just want to put him up in even 14 points. There is logic to that.
Yes, for sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm too aggressive. They'd be up 15. No, I guess you're right. That is 14. But I think you have nothing to lose by going for it on fourth down if they do get to that. They might get it here. Who knows?
I think if you run the ball, you're going for it on fourth down regardless.
Yeah.
I don't think you run the ball if you're going to kick it.
You know what I'd love to see is a cute quarterback boot or a quarterback, quarterback. It's called naked. I don't know why it's called that. It's a silly name.
Naked bootleg,
But yeah, exactly. You fake the run inside, you roll Tyler Huntley to the right, maybe throw a chip out to the tight end or something to the end zone. I know I'm aggressive. I'm a quarterback. I love throwing the ball.
Oh, yeah. But I'm with you. Some sort of misdirection.
They had it earlier on the goal line that got called back. So they know the look is there.
Well, and he also did a similar thing on a play where he was sacked on a goal-to-go situation.
Yeah, I like the thought of running play action, getting Huntley on the perimeter, and it might not be there yet. We might not be to that point yet. They're probably just going to run it up the middle and try to get what they can. But on 4th and inches, we might see some kind of quarterback play action boot.
And in another major development, the Cougs are down to 1 timeout in this second half after that timeout to save his defense on a substitution.
We'll see if that plays a factor later or not.
It may or may not. This down here has a lot to do with it. Third down and 2 on the 7.
They need a stop here.
They certainly do. In the shotgun is Tyler Huntley, an interesting play call. Heavy front for Washington State. Man in motion. They'll hand it off, and he's got room, and he's in for the touchdown. Utah takes a 3-score lead.
And that demoralized Washington State defense got it. Has to feel even worse right now.
A terrible break for Washington State, as they have not been able to get off the field at all this game. It's Bronson Boyd on the touchdown.
Utah's putting its foot down on the heart of Washington State and just driving them into the ground.
31-13 pending, or 30-13 pending the extra point, and the Cougs have some serious work to do on offense.
Yes, they do. Man.
Here's the snap, the hold, and the kick. It's up, and it is good, and Utah has taken a commanding 31-13 lead in this ball game. Washington State's offense has not been here all game, and they need to show up in a big way.
I'm really unimpressed with the heart and the emotion of this Washington State team. So we've heard from Max Borghi that they're not getting the job done in, what do they call drills? Possession drills?
Ball security.
Ball security drills after practice, which means guys aren't fighting as hard as they possibly could. They're not taking seriously, they're just going home early. That's unimpressive to me. And I think it's on the leadership of the team to say, hey guys, we got to show up and do that. And then last weekend against UCLA, they're down 32 points. And the minute it felt like UCLA was back in the game, they crept back. So I think Washington State let their foot off the gas. The minute UCLA got their way back into the game, Washington State looked like they were horrified and couldn't keep fighting, and they eventually lost. Tonight, they look like they're out of it. This drive is very important. Are they going to continue to fight and execute, or are they going to lay down and just get out of the way of the train that is Utah football?
It's a must score on this drive if you want to, if you're Washington State and want to stay in this ball game. Utah getting ready to kick it away. Andrew Strash takes his steps.
Will we get our third return of the evening?
Third consecutive it would be for Washington State. Travell Harris back to return. Here's the kick by Strash. End over end. We will get a return. Harris fields it. It just inside the goal line. And he's going to cut up the middle, nearly breaking a tackle, but he'll be slung down to the 20. And a bad decision there by Travell Harris taking that ball out.
So we're in the Mountain Time Zone, which means that it's 10:37 here. So on the East Coast, I don't think anybody's watching after midnight, 37 minutes after midnight.
Not with this score line. I think anyone that was up just went to bed.
Yeah, if they're not going to bed, if they haven't gone to bed yet, this drive will be the deciding factor whether they go to sleep or not. Washington State needs to deliver here.
It certainly will be. 3-by-1 set for the Cougs. Gordon with Borghi in the backfield. Here's the snap. Hand off to Borghi. He's got some room up the right side. It's a gain of about 8 yards. Second down and 2 coming up.
I love that call. They can't run that enough.
No,
Utah's
they can't.
giving them numbers in the box. They need to take advantage and run the ball.
Cougs need a lot of points as Borghi takes a step onto the sidelines.
I know that's boring and you're impatient, you want to score now, but I think running the ball is the best option right now for Washington State, the way they're being played in the box.
And with the inside a minute to go here in the third quarter, Gordon takes the snap, hands it off, this time to McIntosh, who's hit right away, but he gains enough for the first down.
You know, so Utah played 3 safeties there at zone defense, and I know they got the first down. That's really a poor effort by the offensive line, getting to the next level and pushing guys downfield. They got beat. Once Washington State. So on a zone running scheme, you step to your gap. If there's no one there, you go to the next level, hit linebackers. They didn't do a good job getting to the next level to the linebackers, and that's why that run got stuffed after 2-3 yards.
And an injured defensive lineman on Utah.
Never like seeing that.
No, we'll see if we can get you that number. And for the moment, that is all we know. That is an injured player.
I wish I could tell. We have binoculars. Want to use binoculars? I haven't used them all night. They might be fogged up, but we could try.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Washington State's offense, 2 plays, got 11 yards. They got a first down.
I have glasses on there. It's hard to see with.
As I'm going to take a peek.
Sorry to laugh during an injury. I know that's rough.
And that is actually a linebacker. That is a big blow for Utah if he cannot continue. That is number 13, Francis Bernard.
Oh, he's a powerhouse, man. He's so good.
Beast of a middle linebacker. He did.
He had a pick six against BYU. He's one of the, I circled him actually in my pre-snap, pregame notes. He's a really talented linebacker. That's a big loss.
Yeah, an incredible player for this defense, and he has been down for a while now.
You got to hope he's banged up, but he'll still play the rest of the year. My hope is that he's out for this game maybe because he's been down a long time. Looks like he might be down, but you got to hope if he's injured, he'll come back quickly because he's so important to this Utah defense.
He is pivotal as he's now sitting up, and we'll see if they can Francis Bernard to his feet. He made an incredible play on Max Borghi earlier in this game.
Yes.
And
he's
the
got
biggest hit of the ball game.
Great highlight reel. All right. The pick six against Utah, or against, I guess it's Utah. Pick six against BYU, that big hit on Borghi earlier. I'm sure he's just chock full of highlights, man.
And Bernard's back on his feet, walking gingerly back to the sidelines.
Under his own power, though. That's very encouraging.
To massive applauses here in Rice-Eccles Stadium.
Yeah, you never like seeing that. And they're all giving him, high fives and giving him hugs and patting him on the back as he walks off.
Gordon
he's not even off the field yet. He's actually stopped talking to his guys. He's probably, he's a big leader on that defense. He's probably encouraging his guys, saying, hey, let's go, let's fight, let's finish this game.
He might have just called a play.
You
wouldn't put it past Francis Bernard to call a play on his way off the field with his injury. Trips to the near side, singles receiver to the far side for Gordon with Max Borghi in the backfield. Here's the snap. Fake the handoff. Fake the tunnel screen. They'll go deep over the middle. Batted ball. Incomplete. And Washington State catches a break.
So Washington State ran a fake screen, then a throw. So what they do is the quarterback turns to the right as if he's going to throw the quick screen. The secondary receiver will step up, look like he's going to block, and then swim underneath and go vertical downfield. Gordon had the guy open. That's a great look. And unfortunately, the ball was tipped down into the ground.
2nd down and 10 from the 31-yard line of Washington State. 37 seconds to play here in the third quarter. 2-by-2 set. Gordon takes the snap. Big pressure. He steps up, throws, incomplete. Missing Desmond Patman, who was double covered. 3rd down and 10 coming up, but a flag in the backfield in the area of holding or roughing the passer.
Two thoughts, man. One, great job by Gordon stepping up. Well, the second thought is that might be why he wasn't sacked.
Now Liam Ryan throwing his man to the ground.
Man. So, hey, first of all, great job by Gordon stepping up. But the problem is that's not an open receiver. You're forcing the ball into coverage, and he's done that multiple times this year. Not great.
32 seconds to go here in the third quarter in Salt Lake City. 31-13 lead for Utah. Cougs have 2nd and 20 from their own 21-yard line.
So that heart of Washington State's, their emotion is being tested right now. Will they fight?
2-by-2, Borghi in the backfield, as he has been most of the night. Gordon in the pocket, good pocket, rolling right, dumps it over to Borghi, who's going to pick up a good chunk of yardage. He's got more than the penalty yardage back. It'll be a 3rd down and about 6.5, and a big play for the Cougars coming up.
So young quarterbacks, that's why they have to take what the defense gives them. A simple 2-yard completion now sets them up for 3rd and 4 because Borghi's so good at running with the ball after the catch. This is a huge down. I'm so excited to see what happens. 3rd and 4. Oh, man.
15 seconds to play in the third quarter. Gordon talks to his lineman. 3-by-1.
Man coverage. They're going to bring pressure here.
Padman alone on the near side. Stadium is getting loud. Gordon readies. And that's a false start on who else? Liam Ryan.
Dude, man.
A bad night for Liam Ryan.
What is going on? Repeatedly, he's been the problem. Now, and what's so sad is a great play by Borghi's now negated from going 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9. It's the little things by Washington State. Mike Leach has to be furious. He yells at his team when they win games. Can you imagine this?
It's going to be a rough post-game unless the Cougs can mount an incredible comeback. And even then, it might be a little rough.
It's going to be rough.
There's been some rough moments.
Maybe a little less running after
if they can pull off a victory.
Yeah, exactly.
31-13, Cougs trail the Utah Utes at the end of the third quarter. We're going to send it back to the studio. Actually, but first, we're going to take a sideline report from Brandon Chapman. Brandon, what do you have for us?
Well, thanks, guys. I got to tell you, right down here on the sideline, not a lot of swagger right now. A lot of the players looking very dejected. Of course, Utah has had possession almost double of what WSU has. Defense very, very tired. The coaches are certainly trying to put a little bit extra into the players and try to help them overcome this funk that they're in. But that dejection is very, very real right now. And Mike Leach, once again, back to the beginning of the game, said you've got to go back to routine plays. You're not making it happen because you're not making them routine. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Brandon. We're actually going to keep it right here for the remainder of this quarter break.
There's something really important here, man, is that you look at Anthony Gordon, the quarterback for Washington State. His body language is terrible. He's walking around. He's not clapping and encouraging guys. His body language looks defeated. He's walking 2 hands at his side. He's kind of moping around. That's not what you want from your – I know I'm being a little harsh, but, hey, if he's the leader of your football team, if he's your quarterback, he's got to motivate guys, encourage guys, bring them up. He's not bringing up his team and encouraging guys right now. That's very disappointing to see from the booth.
It is indeed, as Gordon throwing some warm-up passes here. His team
throw
trailing by
all
18.
you want, man. But go encourage your teammates. Get them fighting.
18-point deficit as smoke descends on the stadium as we had a fireworks show at the quarter.
So why do the fireworks happen?
Like
is that like the fourth quarter celebration thing?
I guess so. I don't know.
Like some teams hold up fours. I guess Utah blows off fireworks into the air.
It's a massive amount of smoke. For those of you at home.
I'm going to take a picture so I can put it on Instagram. What the heck,
This is incredible.
You can't see anything. I mean, it's like those Instagram filters that are really bad, and they just kind of haze out the entire screen. What is this?
As Sweet Caroline makes song
This is
in
my
Utah.
girlfriend's favorite song, man.
It's the go-to song in every sporting event ever.
Man. Baseball games, everything, dude.
If you don't, you gotta love it. It's so great.
You know, Eastern Washington has a thing they'd love to do at their football games. They sing this song, and it's just like my favorite part. I used to go to a lot of Eastern games with my girlfriend, and that's my favorite part of their games was singing that song with the crowd. It's a small crowd, but they're a passionate bunch. Mm-hmm. And man, I just love the energy of a live event.
I'm with you. It's incredible, and Washington State needs to keep this crowd quiet if they want a chance in this ball game.
Well, look at again. I love what Brandon brought from the sideline report. Their body language is dead. I was about to say it before he did, but man, like, not only is Gordon. Look at Gordon. I get you're warming up, you're throwing, you're whatever. He's probably taking care of himself on the sideline, but I'd rather see him with his teammates, encouraging the guys around him. I just am not. I don't know. Maybe he's more of an introvert. I am too. I get it, but I think he's got to do the work of lifting up the guys around you.
Now he's in the huddle after throwing a couple warm-up passes.
Wonder what he's saying in there, man. I hope he's saying something. The shame would be if he's just standing there, right, and not being vocal.
So the Cougs look to get a score.
The crowd pulls out their phones like they're at a Post Malone concert.
That's great. All the flashlight phones are out.
It's not even dark here at all. Oh, man.
We apologize. We missed a call from Brian Chapman, rather. If he calls back, we'll get him at the next break.
I'd love to hear from him.
I would too. As we're getting ready to start the fourth quarter. Cougs trail by 18, third and 10.
Caroline was just too much fun.
It is. It's always too much fun. Third down and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Washington State in desperate need of a first down. You don't see much path to victory if you can't get one here.
Man coverage, or zone coverage here.
Trips to the right side, or to the left, near side, going right to left. Borgie in the backfield. Empty box. Gordon takes the snap. Looking, throws. He's got Fisher, and he's down at the 46-yard line.
Great job. Great completion.
Down.
Hey, remember that window we talked about early in the game? Down the middle, about 12, 15 yards. That time, they had two safeties in the middle of the field, so they didn't have a third guy. I was so impressed all game with Utah adjusting, putting a guy in the middle of the field to take that away. They didn't there, and they got burned for it.
They did indeed. Trips to the right side. Roderick Fisher alone on the near side. Borgie in the backfield. First down and 10 for the Cougs, nearing the 14:30 mark in this game. Harris goes in motion, then trips back to the right side. Gordon claps his hands, takes the ball, hands it off to Borgie, who's got room up the middle, and he'll gallop forward for a gain of about 6-yard lines and second down and 4 coming up.
I would go back to that. When have they not succeeded running the ball with Borgie up the middle? That's like 9 times in a row. I get it. I know that's not a very nuanced analysis, but it's working. There's numbers in the box. Continue to take that when they give it to you.
Before that run, he had 8 carries for 51 yards, 6.4 yards to carry for Max Borgie. Stacked receivers both sides, 2 by 2. Borgie in the backfield.
There are
a shotgun
4
set.
guys in the box playing the run for Utah.
Borgie motions to the left side of Borgie. Free play, or that's maybe a false start again on Liam Ryan.
Dude,
we'll see. It is.
They might pull him. What's going on? Look, he's a great leader on their offensive line. There's a reason why I follow him and respect him so much. But he's not leading by example. He's not executing now. That's like, is that 5 this game on Liam Ryan alone?
I believe it's
4 or 5.
I believe it's 4. I believe it's
4.
3 false starts and a holding penalty.
Guy can rock a mullet.
Ryan.
Apparently he cannot get off on the right the right snap count.
So a 2nd and 4 turns into a 2nd and 9. A big setback for this Washington State offense. They're on their own 47-yard line. Pardon.
Let's go back to the box again. There are 4 guys
maybe
in the
5,
box.
you could argue. Man in motion to the right side, leaving the set on the snap. Here's the snap. Borgie rolls out. Gordon back to Borgie. He's got a little bit of room on the right side. He makes a man miss and will gallop forward for the first down. A great run by Max Borgie, who's really shown he may be the most important part of this Washington State offense.
There's a reason people compare him to Christian McCaffrey. I know it's a stretch. I know McCaffrey's incredible, but he's really good with the ball in his hands after the catch. he's so important because when nothing's open downfield, they have an outlet. That's what they do. Washington all the time throws to their running backs. And a guy who's shifty like that, he can make plays, just is so valuable.
Patman alone on the top. 2 running backs in the backfield with Gordon in the shotgun.
How many safeties? You see him?
3 safeties up top. Here's the snap. Gordon steps back. Shovel pass to Borgie, who's got a block. He's got some room. Makes a man miss, and he's across the first down line again. 32-yard line for Max Borgie. And it'll give another first down to Washington State, trailing by 18 with 12:51 to play.
And by the way, I'm simplifying when I say 3 safeties. It's really 2 safeties with a linebacker drop deep. It's called Tampa 2. But I just, for simpler terms, call it 3 safeties. But what that does, again, that linebacker dropped way back in the middle of the field takes away that void between the 2 safeties.
In practicality, it's 3 safeties.
Yes.
Technically.
He's technically a linebacker. I know people are sticklers. They know I know. But for whatever, that's what it is. Tampa 2.
Light box again. Snap to Gordon. He's looking. Deep, going to the end zone, and over the top, nearly picked off for Nord Bell. Able to get just enough of that to knock it away. It's incomplete. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
So there's that narrative we talked about before the game. Utah in the right spot, and this time, unlike last week, they're making plays on the ball, breaking up passes.
2nd down and 10 for the Cougs at the 32-yard line of Utah. 12:20 to play, down by 18. They need to score, and they need to score quickly. Cougs likely need 3 touchdowns to win this ball game.
People are leaving the stadium.
It's a bold move.
I know.
Trips to the near side, Patman to the far. As a Washington State fan, you know that. Delayed handoff to Gion McIntosh. He powers forwards for 6 yards, maybe 7. 3rd down.
How many rushing yards does Washington State have?
To go. As it looks like your page needs to be refreshed. As you're still at halftime.
I was like, 36? There's no way.
3rd down and 4 from the 26-yard line of Utah.
My internet's down.
That's quite puzzling. 3rd down and 4 from the 26-yard line of Utah. 4 down territory for Washington State.
Almost a great 3rd down right here. Good look. They got man coverage, 1 high safety. I think they're going to bring pressure like they have every time they give this look.
Bell to the right side. It'll be trips right on the snap. Here's the snap. Gordon looking right. Throw to Patman. He's got it, and it's a first down for Washington State.
Sorry, I'm going to slow down next on my analysis, but that is the thing we've talked about all game. When a defender's on your back, can you be physical, make that catch? That time he finally made that play. We've been talking about it all game. He finally did it.
Great play there by Desmond Patman. One of the bigger receivers on this Cougar team, but has not been the most physical player this season. Good to see him making a physical play when the team needs him. 11:25 and rolling.
Is that Des?
Des Patman, yeah.
Man, he used that big frame and delivered.
2-by-2 sets. Borgie in the backfield, as he has been all evening. Anthony Gordon in his shotgun position.
Tampa 2, look, they're taking away the middle of the field.
Tampa 2 once again. Defensive line shifts. Gordon pump fakes, looking, drives the ball. Patman again. He's got another first down to the 6-yard line, and the Cougs are driving with 11 minutes to play in the 4th quarter, down by 18.
Here's another thing that Tampa 2 defense does is a weakness of cover 2 is the about 12 yards along the sideline. It's called a hole shot. Because there's a guy in the middle of the field, the safety is allowed to widen a little bit more and take away hole shots a little bit better.
Trips to the right side. Dez alone on the far. Gordon in the backfield, or in the shotgun rather, with Borgie in the backfield. Here's the snap. Gordon looking, rolling right, throws it to Bell, who makes the catch down to the 3-yard line. Clock will continue to roll with 10:35 to play. 2nd down and 3 coming up.
Take a couple of yards there. Great tackle by Utah. All around good football play by both teams.
2-by-2. Now it's going to be a trips to the left situation for the Cougars. Bell moves over.
You know, Gordon does a great job extending plays. Now, here, see man coverage there? We'll see if they put in motion to see if it truly confirm if it's man coverage. I see man coverage with 1 safety in the middle of the field.
Dez to the far side. Good spot for a fade. Gordon looking. He'll throw a fade to Patman. It's incomplete. Nearly picked off. That ball nearly grabbed by Jalen Johnson. Instead, it's 3rd down from the 3-yard line for Washington State. 10:02 to play in the 4th.
That's poor effort by Desmond Patton. He got kind of jammed at the line of scrimmage, and he gave up on the play instead of continuing downfield. You got to fight harder when you're pushed back like that.
Pick there into the ball game, and he almost gave one up right there.
And you know what? That's the right look. Utah brought pressure. Anthony Gordon did a good job getting the ball out quick, and Desmond Patton gave up on the play. They're taking him out. Yeah, they are. They're frustrated with him.
The biggest receiver on the Washington State team by 2 inches leaves the ball game on 3rd down and
goal. He might be big, but he's
3.
been disappointing often this year.
2 backs in the backfield. 2-by-1 set. Here's the snap. They're going to hand it off, and he's stoned in the backfield. That is Dion McIntosh for no gain. 4th down and 3 from the goal to go. What do you got to do here?
You know, first of all, that's about the one time all game I'd tell Washington State not to run the ball.
It's heavy box.
I've been saying it all game. They finally did, but it was the wrong moment. Right here.
And Cougs are going for it. 9:40 to play, clock rolling. Trips to the near side. Gordon in the backfield with Borgie.
I'd run a mesh concept, having 2 guys cross underneath. I think Utah's going to play man coverage and bring pressure. That's what I would do here. They're going to put pressure on Anthony Gordon, make him make a decision quickly. Can he make the right one? And can Washington State be physical on the ball?
Watch Winston on the far side.
It is man coverage.
Bell's in motion. Here's the snap. Gordon looking. Pressure. Here's the pass. Borgie's got it, and he's stopped at the 1-yard line. That's a turnover on downs for Utah, and an amazing open field tackle by the Utah defense.
You got to credit Utah right there. They got a great look. They got the ball to Borgie in kind of an open space, and a great open field tackle by Utah. That's got to be demoralizing by Washington State. They've been, Utah, people talked all offseason about Utah's defense and it leading into this year. Tonight they have really delivered on the promise that, the sports writers that write about Pac-12 football made at the beginning of the year.
So now the Washington State defense clearly needs to stop. They need to stop quickly. Now the question is, do you sell out and try for a safety backed up on their own 2-yard line, or do you try for the quick 3 and out instead? Or is that not even really an option? Do you just play defense?
I think I just run the ball, and if I'm Utah, I run the ball, and if you're on defense, I think they're demoralized.
I'm with you.
I made a video before the year started talking about why I thought Utah would not win the Pac-12. And the reason was, in spite of their great defense, who tonight showed they're fantastic.
Incredible.
Yes. But I said that the problem with a defensive-led football team is eventually they're going to have a bad game. And we saw last week they had a bad game. Yep. And that one game against USC might be the single reason why they don't win the Pac-12. Because no matter how good your defense, they can play great against Washington and Cal, but that Utah loss, that USC loss might have cost them their entire season because the defense had one bad moment where they missed a couple plays downfield.
And you lose the head-to-head and you're in big trouble.
Absolutely. So very, very disappointing that I think Utah's a great football team with a lot of good things going for them, but because they're a defensive-led team, and every year the defensive-led teams have one slip-up, and it only takes one all year for your entire season to get blown.
Yep.
And I'm still not convinced they're going to win the Pac-12 simply because of that game and that loss to USC where the defense slipped up a couple times. Because tonight they've showed they really are doing the right stuff. They're in the right spot. They're making great plays on the ball.
It makes things significantly tougher for Utah since they lost that USC game.
Yeah.
The rest of the way, if you're Washington State, you got to believe you still have a chance in this football game, even if the odds are long. Your defense needs to get in this game, get a stop with 9:14 to play. You're in dire straits if you're Washington State, but you have to believe in your team and try to make a play.
I wish I could tell you I had a lot of faith they could pull it out, and crazier things have happened. But here's what would be most remarkable, is if a dejected Washington State team that's hanging their heads, that's walking around, that's not clapping, they're not encouraging, they look like they've been beaten already. There's no chance. I think it's less unlikely they suddenly change their spirits and fight even harder and emotionally collect themselves. That's what the problem is with Washington State. There's an emotional problem here, and they're defeated, and they were defeated the minute they were down 31-13, frankly.
That is true. This team does look dejected. A little bit of dancing from some of the defensive players.
And I guess that's not entirely fair, right? They just had a great drive where they fought hard, but in the end, they got beat. Points. And the emotional side of this game is so important. Just football in general.
Heavy set. Hundley takes the snap. And the running back has lots of room up the left side. He breaks a tackle into the open field and down at the 15-yard line. That is Davonta Henry Cole. And a long run and an injured Cougar down on the field.
So, man, here's what's sad, right? When a team runs the ball at you, they're up, how many points is that?
It's 18 points.
When a team's up 18 points and they're running the ball, you got to fight hard. I know these are very tropey things broadcasters talk about, but do you want to hit people? There's a thing called HNO, hit nobody. And you're seeing a lot of moments where Washington State, that giant run, a missed tackle, not very physical at the line of scrimmage, guys getting beat on blocks. That's a lot of effort, and that goes back. I've been preaching all day, emotion of a game. Effort on that play was lackluster, and I think Utah's going to close out this game by just running the ball over a team on Washington State its effort is very disappointing and not very encouraging right now.
9:04 to play on the stopped clock due to the injury on the play. As Marcus Strong walking off the field without his helmet on. Talking to the training staff as Mike Leach tries to get his team fired up, and they need They might need a turnover to have a chance in this ballgame.
You know, maybe a turnover would be the thing that sparks them and gives them a little bit of hope. That's maybe the key word here is hope. Right, for all the things, it's empty anyways. I just knocked over my drink, guys. My drink is empty.
Breaking the wall again, it's great. I love it.
Shawn made a reach forward and it was too late.
It was too late.
You know,
once again, no hands.
Where was I going for a minute? I was talking about how...
Talking hope for this team.
Yes, that's the better word. It's not fight. It's Washington State looks like they don't have a lot of hope right now as a football team. That's sad to see, right? You know, they look beaten.
See if they can regain some hope. Minute 17 to go in this media timeout. Give or take a couple seconds. 9:04 to play in the game. 31-13 Utah lead, and they have really dominated this game. 491 yards of total offense to the Cougs, 288 yards.
You got to wonder what Gage Gubert is thinking. Gage Gubert, number 4, the senior transfer from Eastern Washington, a quarterback. You know, when you have a game that you lose and the quarterback is not great on execution, as a backup, it's really frustrating. It's like, man, I can make that play. I can make that throw. I wonder what's going through his head tonight as he sits and watches this game. I know the pain of that when you're not playing and you feel like you could do better. I just wonder if that's going through his mind. I know how painful that is.
It's an interesting situation for sure. I don't think there's a ton of question on who the starter is on this team, with as well as Anthony Gordon's been playing. But the frustration's got to be there for a guy that came over with a chance to play.
I know how it feels. But here's what is frustrating about Gage Gubert right now. He's alone. He's alone by himself, probably feeling sorry for himself. A backup quarterback, it's just disappointing.
Quick score update before we get back underway. Stanford defeating Oregon State 31-28 in Corvallis.
How far has Stanford fallen, man?
They have fallen it's ugly.
You know, I never thought I would say that Stanford's struggling to block running plays, but that's what they're doing this year. It's so disappointing.
They certainly are.
Weird.
We're going to have a short, very quick sideline report from Brian Chapman. Brian, what do you have?
John, WSU offensive line coach Mason Miller was adamantly getting at his guys to keep things simple, not make mistakes, do their assignment, and trying to pump them up a little bit. In that last drive, there was 2 false starts. Mason Miller, Coach Miller, may need a new headset, but it's pretty down. Their heads are down here on the sidelines, and coaches are doing everything they can to pump them up.
They scored 14 unanswered points in the first quarter.
Thank you, Brian. As we get back underway here, heavy set for Utah. Huntley takes the snap, fakes the handoff, he'll roll out. He is lots of pressure. He's going to nearly go down behind the line of scrimmage. There's a flag down. He's got a lot of room on the left side. Ron Stone Jr. over the top. And he'll be tackled after a gain of about 7, but it looks like it's coming back.
Remember concerns about Huntley's foot and how we were worried if he can't run very well?
No concerns.
Oh, man, was I wrong.
All for naught.
I love admitting I'm wrong. It's so fun. You make predictions, and sometimes things work out, and sometimes you're just wrong.
Utah already backing up.
You know what's sad is, from that sideline report we're hearing, the coaches are doing everything they can to lift up their team. It's a holding call.
It is a holding call. Half the distance to the goal.
Still first down, right?
It'll be a replay of the first down.
Yes,
that is correct. 31-13. Utah leads. 8:17 to play here in the fourth quarter. Utah has a first and 17 coming up.
So here's what's disappointing about this Washington State team in general. Is the coaches can only do so much. They can try to pump guys up and get them into it. But if the players don't do the work and have the leadership to lift guys up around them, it doesn't matter. And it looks like right now, the Washington State team as a whole, their heart and their leadership isn't doing a job lifting guys up.
Utah in another heavy set. Late shift on the defensive line. Another man in motion for Utah. They've stayed with the motion all game. Handoffs. Hit right away is the running back. Washington State gives up a gain of about 1. 7:50 and running on the game clock here in the fourth quarter. Cougs, if they get a stop, get the ball back with about 6 minutes.
It's likely they'll get a stop here. It looks like Utah's conceded to the fact, hey, it's second and forever. We're just going to try to run the ball, eat some time off the clock, and concede we're not going to get a first down on this drive unless something crazy happens, or a penalty, or who knows, right? That could happen. A penalty, guys are frustrated. They're down by a lot from Washington State. But they're just trying to get time off the clock right now, it looks like.
Crazy things have happened for the Utah offense all game. 7:21 and rolling. On 2nd and 16 from Utah's own 9. Huntley takes the snap, hands it off to his running back, who's tripped behind the line, and he'll gain about a half a yard. And we'll see 3rd and 15 coming up with a 7:02 to go and a rolling clock. Will Rogers, Alio Patiape, and Nnamdi Aguayo check in along with Marcus Strong, who left the game earlier with an injury. Substitutions on Utah. offense. 6:45 to go and rolling. Bad spot for this Washington State team all the way around, as Utah's defense has had their way, and Utah's offense has looked good as well, but Washington State has a chance to get a stop here and give their offense a fighting chance. Here's the snap. Handoff. It's a draw play up the middle. Nnamdi Aguayo swings down Devonta Henry Cole, and it'll be 4th down.
Okay, so a
And
little
about
after
12 to
5
go.
minutes, they'll get the ball. 5 minutes, down 18 points. Crazier things have happened.
Washington State did have a 21-point comeback against Boise State a number of years ago. My freshman year at Washington State,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
I was there. I was on the sideline working. That was incredibly fun.
So,
That's like, can we remember Tyler Helinski in that game?
Yeah.
It was amazing. You know, that
As-
tragic story.
yes, Helinski, great memories for Washington State, but who knows? Let's get
Yeah.
Let's get a win.
You know what's
For
interesting
Washington
is
State.
even if I think for Washington State right now, their goal has to be execution and trying to score points.
Here's the punt, nearly blocked. Fair caught at the 47-yard line of Washington State with 5:36 to play.
You're down 18 points. There's 5 minutes left. All you can do is can control what you can control. And I'd love to see them get a good drive together and just have a spark for next week, if nothing else, right? I don't know if they can win this game. I hope so. I hope for their sake they can. I hope they can fight hard.
It'd be fun. It'd be a fun
but
comeback.
If nothing else, right, let's get something going for their team and give themselves something positive leading into next week.
Cougs need a quick scores. We enter another media timeout. 5:36 to play here in the fourth quarter. Cougs have the ball. Great field position, but they're down by 18 points.
Here's the thing I thought I would never say after this game. Utah has 334 passing yards and Washington State has 229. Utah has over 100 passing yards more than Washington State. Who would have predicted that?
Absolutely. It's incredible work, and all the credit in the world to Tyler Huntley. 21-30, 334 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He also has this touchdown on the ground. He's had an incredible night. Foot injury or not, he's been incredible.
He's run well. He's thrown well. Look, I still have issues with his anticipation, right? But when he had guys open, he really took advantage of that and made great throws downfield.
Utah averaging 5 yards on the ground.
He
per run.
really did his, in Utah, working on the ground, 4.8 yards per carry for the Utes. Washington State, 4.5 yards per carry. And as you mentioned, Washington State having some success on the ground, but a little too late at this point. I think the key stat in this game, though, 15.9 yards per completion for the Utah offense.
Here's
Incredible.
another stat for you, man. Utah has 496, almost 500 yards on offense. And look, last week again, UCLA torched this Washington State defense. Again, a second week in a row, blown coverages, guys wide open. Washington State's defense has been very, very subpar, if not worse than average tonight. And it's a consistent trend we're starting to see from Washington State's offense. Defense.
Washington State's defense has given up 1,200 yards in the last 2 games. And we still have 5.5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. 35 seconds to go in the media timeout as the Cougs need a drive, a quick drive. They need to score quickly, and you might see the Cougs take a couple shots at the end zone, which they have not had a lot of success downfield, but you need to try things when you're down by 18.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see whether or not the Cougs can get a win. Is, pretty decided at this point, most likely, but it's always fun to watch an air raid offense, and you never know what could happen.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious what they do here. Are they going for big chunks? Or are they just going to take what the defense gives them? What kind of plays do we see run right now for Washington State? I'm very curious. They are an offense that can score in a hurry, and I'm rooting for that.
5:36 to play. Trips right for Anthony Gordon with Tay Martin on the near side all alone. He'll take the snap. Mesh play over the middle. Gordon throws, and this one's intercepted right to the middle linebacker, Francis Bernard, who's running down the far sideline and pushed out of bounds. Gordon didn't see him at all and threw it right to Francis Bernard, and that likely ends the ballgame.
The human highlight reel, Francis Bernard. Man, he's made so many great plays tonight, throughout the season. What a great linebacker Utah has in Francis Bernard. And that's a terrible decision by Anthony Gordon. Like, I know that's blunt and honest, but it is. Like, that's just not a good play. It's not at all a good execution by the quarterback for Washington State.
Unbelievable turn of events. Well, not really unbelievable. Utah's defense played incredibly well all game. As Francis Bernard returns from injury and picks off Anthony Gordon.
Good for him, man. I was concerned when he walked out. He's too good a player to get hurt and miss a lot of this year.
I was as well. Huntley sends a man in motion in a heavy set. He'll take the snap, hand it off to his back, who has a big hole up the left side. He breaks through a Marcus Strong tackle and heads out of bounds for a gain of 11. Another first down for Utah.
Oh boy, and a safety for Washington State just got ran over. Marcus Strong, number 4. Oof.
A holding by Utah, though, will back them up.
You know what's sad, though, is actually that just works to the advantage of Utah. It lengthens this drive, gives them more time to run off the clock. They can just run the ball and keep running it. Take this down all the way to, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Killed about 3 minutes or 3 seconds, or more than that, 8 seconds or so on that carry. 8 seconds the Cougs need desperately.
Yeah, man, Francis Bernard is a guy that I'd love to see get a shot in the NFL. And certainly, if not, like my concern is injuries. Can he stay healthy? He was hurt last year. We saw him get hurt again tonight, walk off the field a little bit. Francis Bernard, though, such a talented football player.
He's an incredible player. Huntley, under center, heavy set, single back. They'll hand it off. Hit right away is the running back. That is Devonta Henry Cole.
Ooh, that's a penalty.
And it is a penalty.
Threw him to the ground late after the play was over. Man, that's what I'm talking about. You're down by 18. You're frustrated. I wondered if that would happen, and indeed it did.
Block throws Devonta Henry Cole down after the play. That'll be an automatic first down for Utah.
It just negates that holding penalty by Utah.
And with 4:47 to go, that really might be your dagger in this game.
Yeah. Lack of discipline, a lack of heart, lack of execution. Man, I'm just thoroughly unimpressed by Washington State tonight.
They have played perhaps their worst game.
I would give anything to be in that
in the last
locker room.
I would
listening
too.
to Mike Leach, man.
This is for sure the worst performance by this team this season, and perhaps in the last several seasons.
Yeah, I think so. Looks like a team that just gave up.
2012.
Another heavy set. Huntley under center. Fewest offensive yards by Washington State since 2012, if that holds. Huntley hands it off. Devonta Henry Cole breaks a couple tackles. Gets to the 20-yard line, pickup of about 5. Second down and 5 coming up. And Washington State burning their last timeout.
Back to Francis Bernard.
An injury timeout, as there's an injured player down on the field.
Back to Francis Bernard. If he doesn't get a great shot in the NFL, he's also a guy who could succeed in the XFL. He's a talented football player, does a lot of good stuff. I'd just love to see him play some more football after college.
I'm with you. And that is the great thing about these other professional football leagues popping up is it gives more guys a chance to continue to play
and
football.
And gives people that we like to root for more time to play and more stories to root for.
It is a fantastic opportunity for some of these players as we enter immediate timeout in what's been really a dominant game for Utah from the very beginning.
All sports is drama. It's drama, it's entertainment, it's storylines. And I just am so in love with the process and so in love with what sports give us as fans, man. It's just so much fun to watch.
4:10 to play in this fourth quarter of action as the injured Coug starts heading towards the sideline. That is 3? Daniel Easom.
That's sad. That's rough, man, to get hurt at the end of a game.
In a game with this margin especially.
It's pretty much over. I hope he's all right. He's walking off on his own accord. His helmet's still on. He's limping a little bit, probably an ankle injury. But, again, nonetheless, you hate seeing guys get hurt.
Utah looking to run this clock out. They have a 2nd and 5. A first down will nearly do it.
I really respect the people that are still here. A lot of Utah fans are gone. It's about half full now.
Yeah, pretty close.
So I'm sure guys are celebrating homecoming. They're off with their families getting dinner or at a bar or something. But
yeah, 11:15 local time. It's a late one. That's
Nobody
for sure.
on the East Coast is watching this game. They're asleep now.
I'll tell you what, though. Major lucky break with the weather. No delays at all.
No.
It was looking like we might not get this game in tonight.
The way you were talking about, so when I first saw you this morning, right, we were talking about weather, and you're like, dude, there's going to be lightning. We might not even play. The game might even start at 8 o'clock. We might be getting you started the game at like 11. I was like, oh, that's horrifying.
It was
all day. More, the thunder and lightning got pushed back farther and farther.
Back.
It'd be really cool if we get home tonight and we're at the place, and then there's giant lightning and it's super cool.
That'd be fun to watch. But yeah, the lucky break for the weather, and it's always great to get a game in regulation. Cougs maybe now are wishing that the game wasn't going to get in regulation.
I'm sure they'd love more chances, but
yeah, so that they could delay this game a little bit.
I'm sure Mike Leach and the coaching staff would like more opportunities. This team looks defeated, man.
They do.
They just look demoralized.
They do indeed. 4:10 to go in this ball game. 31-7 or 31-13.
There we go.
Wishful thinking.
Who's that?
There.
Number 42. Who is that? I love him bouncing around, trying to lift up the guys around him. I'll find his name. Got a gigantic roster sheet. You know what's weird about his roster sheet? It's not in numerical order. It's in order of their names. Oh,
Other
there
side,
we go.
buddy.
Oh,
Other side.
I'm a young buck. I'm learning, man. Come on.
Hey, it happens. It took me forever to find the numerical list.
You know what? That name is way too hard to pronounce. But hey, number 42, I respect you, my man.
Shout out. Cougs looking for a stop.
You know what's interesting is number 41 is just listed as Sherman.
That is Dylan Sherman.
No,
number 41.
Sherman.
Sherman. Hey, you know, with a name like Sherman as a defensive back, that's all you need, right?
Oh yeah. Our pronunciations in our other piece of paper.
They're in the media packet. Yes.
I'm gonna find it and have fun with that.
Heavy set. 3:30 to go in the quarter. 2nd down and 5. Handoff. Devonta Henry Cole, and that's a first down for Utah. 3:25 to play, and that likely does it.
Tick, 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 tick. Time just getting eaten away by Utah.
Utah officially needs another first down to run this clock out.
What's time of possession for Utah tonight?
As hopefully our stats are updating themselves. Another huddle for Utah. They were at 30 minutes and 23 seconds of possession with 5.5 minutes to play in the game. We're 2.5 minutes later, so they'll pick up 2.5 more minutes of time of possession there.
Help a brother out. Where is this this so-called pronunciation sheet?
2:55 to play in the game as we are now on to other things. Devonta Parker.
Great run. Great cuts by him, man.
Devonta Henry Cole up the middle.
And hey, so a gigantic hole by Utah, and he just made a couple great cuts and got as many yards as he possibly could. That's a great run.
Utah continues to burn clock as this Washington State team is headed to an 0-2 start in conference play. And a demoralizing defeat for Washington State. They'll head to their bye week and have plenty to reflect on the break before they head down to the desert and play Arizona State.
The clock continues to run. Utah's in no hurry.
They'll set up in the shotgun this time. 2nd down and 2. Tyler Huntley takes the snap. Another handoff up the middle. And Devonta Henry Cole is stopped at the 2, but a first down gained after the 2-minute warning, and that will do it in this game. 3 kneels and this game is over. And I may be wrong. There might not be a pronunciation guide in this, as I am not seeing one either, Zach.
Okay, well, hey, I looked. Number 42's name remains unknown.
We'll give you a shout out. In fact, I'm going to check and make sure I don't know how to say this guy's name, because it's possible that I do. You never know. Number 42. No, I do not know how to say that name. You're right. That is way too hard to say.
Anybody listening, look up number 42 on Washington State.
You'll know what we're talking about when you see that name.
Hey, again, the reason I talked about him is because he was trying to pump up the guys around him. Credit to him. That's so awesome.
Utah's trying to punch this one in. They'll hand it off to Devonta Henry Cole. No, he'll keep it. And Tyler Huntley walks into the end zone for another touchdown. 37-13 to play. 37-13 with a minute 21 to play in Utah, rubbing some salt in the wounds of Washington State.
And you know what that does is helps them in the rankings.
Yeah, it does.
That's why you do that there. That's why you run for. That's why you keep running instead of just kneeling 3 times.
It's unfortunate.
And remember, Washington State's beat Utah 4 times in a row before this game. I'm sure they're hungry for revenge.
Utah's feeling good, and this Cougar team continues to, or this Cougar team, after a promising 3-0 start, is failing to meet expectations this season. They were about to fall to 3-2. Extra point is up, and it is good. 38-13, Washington State trails Utah in what has turned into a bit of a blowout here in the second half.
They didn't score in the second half.
17-0 in the second half. Utah outscoring Washington State.
Wow.
They may tack on a garbage time touchdown here, but still, a disastrous result for Washington State.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here's maybe something fun. I got coffee before the first quarter. I drank about half of it. Haven't touched it since then. I'm not going to drink the rest of my coffee. It's cold.
I like it.
I don't know if I like that, but hey, I'm curious what it tastes like.
Hey, it'll keep you up on the drive back to Saratoga Springs, right?
Hey, don't tell them we're sleeping.
Oh, you're right. Hey, it's a town of like 40,000. Good luck finding us. No, that's not a challenge, by the way. I know your strong opinion sports fans are pretty fanatic.
I gave him a chance to find me tonight.
That's true. That's true. Oh, boy. Washington State.
Hey, cold coffee's better than no coffee. That wasn't bad. Drink it like a shot. I love the taste of coffee, man.
I do, too. Decaf it just not worth it, you know? If you can't have caffeine.
So what's your caffeine thing? Why'd you get off caffeine?
I've got a little, we'll talk after the kickoff. Here's the kickoff. Travell Harris is going to let it go over his head for a touchback. So most people know I've got a slight heart condition that.
The heart murmur?
It's a tachycardia issue, supraventricular tachycardia, as we continue to break the fourth wall, which I love.
No idea what that means. Great words, who knows?
So basically I have an extra electrical circuit in my heart. And occasionally that circuit will activate, and my heart rate will double or triple.
Also, no caffeine for my man Shawn O'Connor.
so I take some medicine that keeps it manageable, and but caffeine and alcohol and cold medicine and decongestants mess with that medicine. So I just cut them out.
Who's next week for these two teams?
We'll see the snap first. Quick little flick over to Roderick Fisher, but only a short 1-yard gain. Both teams are actually on a bye week next week. Washington State will then head over to play Arizona State down in Tempe.
That's a good game, I would think.
That should be a good game, assuming this Washington State team can really bounce back on both aspects. Utah will head to Corvallis in 2 weeks to play Oregon State. Should be another.
Khalid Jabril.
Trips to the right side. Fisher alone on the near side as we pass the 45-second mark. Gordon looking to the right side. He'll throw. Caught by Patman, who is tackled across the first down marker at the 36-yard line. Clock stops for the first down.
Great throw. And finally hit the right shoulder.
He did. A reception by Desmond Patman on a player who was really disappointed all season. In this game, he's let some opportunities slip through his fingers. Gordon takes the snap, trips to the right side. He'll scramble, pressured. Pump fakes, and he'll run it out of bounds. Pick up of about 3 yards with 21 seconds to play. 38-13, Utah leads and are going to win this ball game and move to 4-1 on the season, pick up their first win in conference play. Gordon discussing the offense with Borghi. Trips to the near side, Desmond Patman alone on the far.
Really soft coverage by Utah. We're just going to let him have everything underneath.
21 seconds to play. Check down to Borghi. Borghi breaks a tackle, cuts outside and steps out of bounds. 14 seconds to play in the 3rd down and 2 coming up.
You know, the play I think of watching that is that 4th down on the goal line for Washington State, that great tackle in open space on Borghi.
Could have changed the game.
Yeah, it really could have. That was a big momentum swing for Utah.
If Borghi gets in there, the Cougs are down 10 or 11, depending on the extra point decision. If you go for 2
that's
there, which you might.
The next touchdown by Utah. Because Utah went down and scored after that.
They did. Gordon takes the snap on 3rd down and 2. Goes over the middle. It's almost intercepted. Almost Bernard's second pick of the game. 8 seconds to play.
And that right there.
It's 4th and 2.
That is why they tell people to use 2 hands. If he uses 2 hands, that's an interception. He's going home with 2 picks tonight.
Francis Bernard, the player of the game for sure on this Utah defense. A big-time pick to end any hope that Washington State had, and the massive hit on Max Borghi to really demoralize this offense early in the second half.
And how many times did Utah's defense break up passes downfield? Just getting their hands on the ball. It's such a great job by them.
Gordon takes the snap over the middle. He'll get it to Bell, who is hit after the first down. Undershirt tackle.
That might be it.
Right at and that is it. Just past the 50-yard line. The Cougs lose the ball game, falling to Utah 38-13 on an incredible effort by the Utah Utes. Cougs fall to 3-2 on the season, and will head into their bye week with plenty to think about. 0-2 in conference play, and they're going to have to run the table if they have a chance to win the Pac-12 North. Yeah. Utah helps their situation. They're now in a virtual tie with USC for the South lead, but that head-to-head could come back to hurt them if they follow UCLA's lead or USC's lead the rest of the way.
Yeah, the games to look forward to the rest of the year now. I want to see Utah versus Arizona State. That's a good matchup. It's just a shame Utah's got their 3rd-string quarterback in. Hey, man, I got to say, this game was so much fun. The energy brought by Utah's fans. Homecoming here in Salt Lake City. What a beautiful city, beautiful venue. And just a fun, I know the second half was disappointing. The game kind of got out of hand, but this is a great matchup from the start. It was really fun.
It was, and a great first 2.5 quarters. And, this Utah team really brought it and showed that they are still a force to be reckoned with in the Pac-12. They'll likely jump a number of spots in the AP poll. They're ranked 19th. I'd like to see them jump up into the top 15 after this next poll is released tomorrow morning.
Yeah, a couple things tonight, man. Utah's defense did a great job stopping guys downfield. You know, make great coverage and then making plays on the ball. Unlike last week against USC, they made great plays on the ball, swatting plays away. Washington State just did not execute well throwing the ball. They had guys when receivers beat a man by a step and had a defender right behind him, they couldn't haul it and they weren't physical enough. Anthony Gordon made a couple throws to the wrong shoulder. It's very disappointing. And then Tyler Huntley, wow. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Utah had how many more yards? Almost 100 more yards throwing the ball. I guess about 80 more throwing the ball than Washington State did. Tyler Huntley, the quarterback for Utah, stepped up big time. Made some great throws. 213
more yards of total offense. Utah put on a show here in Salt Lake City. 38-13 your final score. Anthony Gordon, only 252 yards, a touchdown on those 2 picks. Bad day for Anthony Gordon, and this defense continues to disappoint in Bowman.
And busted coverages by the defense, leaving guys wide open for Utah. That's the second week in a row they've given a massive amount of yards. And then here's the biggest concern, if you're a Washington State fan, was the fight and the resilience by this team was just lackluster. It was awful. Guys hung their heads. Nobody was clapping and encouraging and fighting more, and they just never gave each other a sense of hope. The coaches were trying, but the team has to make a decision there. Are we going to fight and arch our backs, or are we just going to lay down and allow Utah to run away with the game? And unfortunately for Washington State, and credit Utah, they fought all game and kept fighting consistently. But Washington State just kind of laid down, and that's sad to see for a team that I think had a lot going for them early this year.
They really did. High expectations entering the season, and the Cougs in a terrible spot right now if they want to compete for the Pac-12 North. As we mentioned, likely have to run the table at this point. Still have all your games against the Pac-12 North, so you have a shot. But after getting within 1 point, 14-13 in the second quarter, Cougs gave up 24 unanswered points on defense, and their offense just couldn't get anything rolling in the second half. Not what you want to see from this offense.
What's the game plan now for Washington State? Run the table in the Pac-12 North? Is that their only hope?
I think your only hope is...
They can still get to the game. They can still get to the championship if they run the table in the North, right?
You probably would. You have to beat Arizona State coming out of your bye and win 5 straight against the North, which is a tough slog, but it could come down to another Apple Cup game. But it's also not out of the question for Wazoo to go down to Utah or to Arizona State in a couple weeks and drop a game there, and then with 3 losses, you're most likely out of it.
Well, that's my question, right? You know the Pac-12 so well. To get into the Pac-12 championship game, is there wins in the North more important, or is their overall record more important?
So your conference record is all that matters. They don't care if it's North, South. So this game against Utah...
the team with the best record in the North plays the team with the best conference record in the South.
Exactly, correct.
Conference record versus conference record, North-South.
Exactly. So you have 9 games against the South, or you have 9 games total in conference, 4 against South, 5 against the North, if you're a North team. Best conference record in the North goes to the Pac-12 championship game. The Cal-Washington result is big for if you're Washington State. Did you expect Cal to drop a game as they did against Arizona State? Everyone in the North but Oregon has a conference loss. Yeah. So you have a shot, but you likely have to win your last 7 conference games if you want a chance in the North. Utah in a great position, as we've mentioned, to win the North win the South. Rather, it's going to be a fun race between them, USC, and Arizona State in the Southern Division in the Pac-12.
Shawn, man, thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for being here.
It's just a blast. I love broadcasting with you. It's just such a pleasure.
Thanks for being here.
I loved it, man.
And we're going to sign off for Brandon and Brian Chapman down on the sideline, Jack Christensen in the booth, and Jack Christensen back in the studio, and Zach Shomler to my right here in Salt Lake City. I'm Sean O'Connor.
In case anybody's still listening, please look up Strong Opinion Sports. That's my pride and joy. And give it a listen, give it a watch on YouTube. I love it. It's my passion.
Support our guy. Support Zach Shomler on Strong Opinion Sports. I'm Sean O'Connor from Salt Lake City. 38-13, Utah defeats Washington State. We're going to send it back to the studio. Have a good night, everybody.